For them national anthem. You gotta stand up in there. Stand by myself. Get here on time.
Can't be cussing, man.
No one make.
There's a microphone right there.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Richard Dick Blake Stadium on the campus of Coco High School. I am Alan Slaughterzinski, joined by Jerry Durney for what is arguably the best opening high school football game we've had in Brevard County in quite some time, as the Viera Hawks take on the Coco Tigers tonight. And let me bring in my broadcast partner, Jerry Durney. Jerry, we've got a doozy here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, this is almost like if you were going to compare Brevard County high school football to college football as a whole. This would be like having Alabama-Clemson week one. And these are the two best teams in the county. These are the two teams that are going to send multiple players onto college football at the next level. And as we've seen from both Coco and Viera, guys that can thrive at the next level and have a chance to play in the NFL as well. And the last time these two teams met, we had the game of the year in this county.
49-42 last year. For the first time in program history, the Viera Hawks downed the Coco Tigers, and there was over 1,100 total yards of offense in that game. Bryce Norton, the Viera quarterback, then just a sophomore, accounted for all 7 of the Hawks' touchdowns. By the way, DJ Arroyo, not to be outdone in that contest, 444 passing yards and 4 touchdowns himself, Jerry.
Yeah, you know, that was the thing that we were debating at the end of our broadcast last week, was that we're going to get a repeat of that this year, or have these two teams spent all year figuring each other out, or are we going to have a 13-10 type game? It's really going to come down to the play of these two quarterbacks, the two best in the county, two guys that are probably going to be playing at the next level. And the question is going to be, who takes better care of the football in a game like this? Because I have a feeling it might be one of those whoever gets it last wins kind of games.
All right, what we're going to do here is pause for the national anthem as the Coco Tigers JROTC color guard is at the 50-yard line.
Schneider in his second year, and the Hawks are led by Coach Smith in his first year. Please stand for the presentation of colors and the national anthem. Gentlemen, we ask that you please remove your hats. The honor guard is from the Coco High School Army JROTC Tiger Battalion. The honor guard commander is Command Sergeant First Class James C. Pillow III. The members are Master Sergeant Paige Al Tapper, Master Sergeant Madison Bigger, Staff Sergeant Aaron Lutz, and the national anthem will be sung by the Coco High School Chorus.
All right, what a great rendition of the national anthem there. Once again, you're watching high school football, Brevard County High School football here on 321 Sportscast. We'd like to thank Viera High School senior Gavin Lamp. These great pictures, this great camera work, all of this you're seeing here tonight, produced by Gavin Lamp. Just a remarkable job here. And Jerry, what are your keys tonight for either one of these two to win this game?
Well, really, like we were talking about here just before we stepped aside, I think the big thing for Coco is taking care of the football. You know, DJ Arroyo did have 3 picks last week, one of which got returned for a touchdown. And maybe in a game like that, it doesn't come back to bite you. But in a game like this where it's consistently over the last 3-4 years has been a one-score game, every one of those turnovers matters. And as we talked about a lot last week with Coco, they want to win here tonight, and there's no doubt about that, and they want to fix what happened last year. But every game for them is to plan for November and December and the region final and the state semifinal and the state final.
Yep.
And it's cleaning those things up for down the line. And, you know, they're going to face teams of Viera's caliber once they get into the regional and state playoffs, and teams that are probably even better.
Yep.
And this is where tightening that up starts now. And you've got to take care of the ball in these games. And you got to make sure that teams don't get a book on you either.
You look at that Coco Tigers schedule this year, and I know all we have to go on is what happened last year. You look at that Tiger schedule this year. All 10 of their teams were playoff teams last year, Jerry. Of the 10 teams, the playoff teams they faced this year, 8 of those teams won at least one game. So that means they played deep into the month of November. Now, not everybody played to Thanksgiving, but my point is that Ryan Schneider and the Coco Tigers, they say bring it on. And talking to Ryan Schneider and Derek Smith before the game, both of them said that this is a game, week 1, that you can look forward to seeing for quite some time here in Brevard County.
And it's great to hear that because, you know, yeah, you do want to be able to go around the state and potentially face the teams that you might see in November, or face a team that's a classification or 2 above you to kind of get an idea of where you are. But in a county like this that's rich with talent and rich with programs that have historically won and are consistent contenders, you like to see them play each other. You know, we see it all the time over in Orange County, over in the Tampa area, certainly in South Florida. You see the heavyweights face each other all the time. And you know what? I've often said I think that Brevard County might have the best high school football outside of any metro area in the state of Florida. And you know what? It's always great to see when the Rockledges play the Palm Bays or Coco plays Palm Bay. And as Viera continues its ascendancy as a contending program, as they've done for the last 4 or 5 years, it'd be great to see Viera every year playing a Coco, playing a Palm Bay, playing a Rockledge, and have that become a marquee game. And, you know, we're in the midst of that. And they always say it's never a rivalry until the other side wins. We've got one now after what Viera did last year.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You look at your captains taking the field for the Viera Hawks. They are his big Richie Leonard on the left-hand side. He's used to that left-hand side. He is the big left tackle that committed to the Florida Gators just about 6 weeks ago here on 321 Sportscast. And there in the middle is number 8, Keziah Holmes, who did the very same thing on 321 Sportscast at Penn State. Your other captains are Clovis Thompson and at number 9, Marquise Freeman, who will be committing soon as the Coco Tigers, Jerry, take the field.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the banner that they walked through said, "Hawks don't survive in the jungle." I'm pretty sure that's what it said. And an interesting stat to note, we mentioned Viera won this matchup last year. They were only the 2nd Brevard County team to beat the Tigers this decade, the other one being Rockledge 2 years ago in the Barbecue Bowl. But no Brevard County team has won at Coco since Astronaut did it on October 27th, 2006.
Wow.
It's almost 13 years since a Brevard County team came here to Dick Blake Stadium and won. And think about how different the world is, how different sports is, or even just Brevard County football. And I believe at that point, Derek Smith was still on Dan Burke's staff at Palm Bay, just to give you an idea of how far back that is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, as the teams, the coin toss, and what we've seen in the last 5 years, the new trend, is if you win the toss, you're generally kicking. It's going to be interesting to see. One of my keys to this game is conditioning. What team is going to be the better conditioned team as we, head into this tonight?
Yeah, especially I think that's the biggest key for Viera, Allen, is can they stand up on the front? We know how fast Coco is. We know how physical they are. And that's usually where they beat you. It is exhausting to go up against that for 4 quarters consistently every single play, because one slip, guess what? They got a free shot at a quarterback, and you got to fumble, and you got to turn over on that play. It is tough for all 11 to stay committed and stay in condition and be ready on every single play. One slip in a game like this can change everything.
As the Viera Hawks get set to take the field, of course, they are led by junior quarterback Bryce Norton. But we'll talk a lot about Norton tonight, Jerry. I want to talk about the big defensive ends that they have. You know, look, Cooper Davis, already committed to the University of Missouri. Here come the Viera Hawks, and there is Big Coop carrying the American flag.
I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see, Alan, do they move him around, or do they want to match him up strictly against Richie Leonard there on that left side? Or, you know, you see with guys like that at the high school and collegiate level, try to exploit the matchups or try to keep the coaches guessing. Do you want to keep moving him side to side? Do you want to put him in the middle? You know, how do you want to be able to get your best down lineman into the backfield and disrupt that connection with DJ Arroyo and Keziah Holmes?
We are what I'd like to call a broadcast that responds to your comments. We'd like to welcome in Tony Norton, Parker, Daisy Edgecombe, Viera Hawks Baseball, Michelle McD. I can't pronounce that name, so we'll just say Nikita Smith on the broadcast with us tonight. Leave us your comments as the Coco Tigers get set to kick off, and that'll be another interesting factor tonight. Gone is the 5-year starter in Alex Petrozello. We've got us a new kicker for Coco this year.
That was Nick King. He had a good go of it last week, handling the extra points, did the kickoff duty as well. Didn't handle punts. See how Coco handles that tonight. Hawks, however, going with 3 men deep, Alan. Jeremiah Housey is 1. So is TJ Johnson. And over on the far side, it's Davis Mallinger. Our officiating crew tonight is Charlie Sitton as the referee. Matt Bollinger is the umpire. Buster Popovich is the linesman. Ron Durant, the line judge. Randy Wood is the side judge. Field judge is Jeff DiPianata. Bill Adams is on the clock.
No doubt about it. Jerry Durney, Alan Slaughterzinski, Gavin Lamp set for action here. I'll turn it over to my partner, Jerry Durney.
Thank you, Alan, and we are underway here at Dick Blake Stadium, and that's going to take a bounce at about the 19-yard line, and it'll be fielded by Jeremiah Housey, who's going to go side to side, all the way over on the far sideline, over the 20, still on his feet to the 25, and he's going to be met at the 30-yard line by a host of Tigers, including John Tavius Thomas, and that is where the Hawks will start their opening drive at the 11:48 mark of this first quarter.
We've got a late flag, Jerry, and I mean a late flag come flying in down at the 22. I'll be interested to see if this is a 15-yard type of a call.
We'll wait the call from Charlie Sitton. The offensive starters for Viera, of course, it's Bryce Norton under center. The running back will be TJ Johnson. They go with that 4-receiver setup of Davis Mallinger, Jeremiah Housey, Donovan Giles, along with Caleb Osborne. The tight end will be Cooper Davis. You will see him occasionally feature there. Along the offensive line, Andrew Hart is at left tackle. The left guard is Brady Tuzet. Tyler Mattis is the center. Colbin Marr is the right guard. And at right guard, Cooper Liston will get the start, but expect to see Justin Humphreys there as well, as they're continuing to debate what this call will be on the flag, which came at the end of the play. We'll get to the Coco defense momentarily.
And the officials walking. That's not good, walking up. I don't know if they're going to pick it up. Here comes the head referee to make the call. Personal foul. That's against, I think it was a late hit. That's going to be against the Viera Hawks. That's going to back them up 15 yards to start, and that's going to put Bryce Norton and this Viera Hawk offense in a hole to start. Another thing to watch for here tonight, Jerry, the health of Bryce Norton. A lot of people speculating around the county, perhaps Bryce wasn't healthy. Last week, they didn't run the ball hardly at all. When I talked to Derek Smith about that, his response to me was, well, they didn't throw the ball at all. Check that. His response to me was, we didn't have to throw it. We could run it. And they did for 275 yards.
And I think part of that was knowing that you didn't want to get a book on yourself on film, knowing that Coach Snyder and his staff were going to be paying attention to everything that Viera were going to be doing last week. And a lot of teams do that in week 1, try to keep it bland. And we'll see where they mark this off. The original down marker was actually back at the 20. Now let's see where they mark this. Boy, this is going to be moving it all the way near the goal line. They're going to put this on the 5.
2 fouls on the play.
2 fouls.
Back to Viera Hawks up.
That's a 30-yard penalty. Both of those calls are against Viera, so that ball would have been on the 30. So that's a half the distance to the goal, Jerry.
That is a big one. So the Hawks will start in the shadow of their own goal. 12 seconds into this game on their own 5-yard line. We're going to be going right to left here on your screen. They're in the gold. Coco in the black uniforms. Man in motion here, and that looks like Mallinger as they'll go with 3 receivers on the near side. Norton out of the shotgun. Handoff goes to T.J. Johnson up the middle, and immediately met by a whole host of black shirts. Leading the way there for Coco, that was Marquise Freeman, and that looked like number 50, Jaheim Thomas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The physicality of the Coco Tigers right out of the gate, you can see it. I was at their practice earlier this week. They nearly drove a sled all the way to US 1.
And that's probably a tradition here in Coco with some of the defenses they've had. We'll give you the starters here after 2nd and 4, although that might be moving back a little further as this play's blown dead.
Yeah, it looks like a false start, maybe.
Although the
Offsides.
Coco defense is moving back, so that's going to set up a 2nd and 1. So an offside against the Tigers. Here's their defense. The 4 down the linemen will be Marquise Freeman, Day White, Zachary Gay, and Jontavius Thomas, as we just mentioned. The linebackers are Keontae Curry, A.J. Williams, and Zaquan Reeves. Cedric Hawkins and Chavis Thompson are the 2 corners. The safeties are Kajan Summers and Jaquez Hicks. 2nd and 1. Put it at the 18-yard line of the Hawks. Norton takes the snap, looking to throw. He's going to send downfield, got a man, and it's caught with the defender draped all over him was Davis Mallinger. Not sure what else Zaquan Reeves could have done there in coverage. A great catch by Mallinger, and it's a 1st down for the Hawks.
In fact, I was looking for a pass interference flag had he not caught it. The defensive back never turned around, and Davis Mallinger with a big catch, Jerry.
Same here. I thought they were going to definitely call the flag. I didn't think Mallinger was going to be able to get to that. He was almost falling away from the football. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the 44. So a gain of 26 on the completion to Mallinger. They fake the handoff to Johnson. Norton will run with it. There's a flag over on the far sideline as Norton will step out of bounds. We'll see where. We'll also see what this flag is. It's all the way back at the 42, almost by the Hawks sideline.
That's exactly what offensive coordinator Mike DeGore wants on that type of a play. He wants to allow Bryce Norton one-on-one with a linebacker or a defensive back, and then it's Bryce's job to beat him, Jerry.
And it's going to be a false start against Viera.
Wow. So
that play
backwards.
was blown dead anyway.
Penalty is legal procedure on the Hawks.
So that'll move it back to the 39. So make it 1st and 15. They're going to need to get to the Coco, call it the 46. 10:54. But the clock stopped here on what is another very damp August night. It's not raining. It isn't yet, but it is incredibly humid again. This went right through my shirt. 82 degrees at kickoff. Heat index at 92. There is a 50% chance of rain through this one. Norton takes the snap. That's going to be complete. Tripped up at the 40-yard line there was Caleb Osborne.
Should be another flag. I don't know if the near side official threw a flag, but I saw a block in the back. Don't know if he threw it.
There does appear to be some conversation there on it, because John Summers was the one who made the tackle, but we'll see if this holds up.
That was clearly a block in the back I saw.
Alan mentioned the schedule for Coco has been consistently tough. It was last year, and there it was.
Yeah.
But it gets even tougher next week. They'll go up to Milton, Georgia to take on Hoover, Alabama. And, of course, if you've followed national high school football for a long time, that should be a very familiar name to you.
Yeah,
Maybe one of the most successful high school football programs in the nation. And that's what the Tigers will go up against next week just outside Atlanta.
I know him from MTV, Jerry.
Same here. It's 1st and 24 from the 31. Norton in trouble. He's going to be flushed out to his left, and he's just going to run with this one. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage and gets to just about midfield. Tackle made on the play there by Keontae Curry. Call that a gain of 18.
That's the one thing the Coco Tigers have game planned for all summer long. And there it is on the very first opportunity Norton gets. He picks up nearly all of the lost yardage to bring up 2nd and 5.
They'll put it right at midfield, so a gain of 19. Tell you, they've got the down marker. It's almost to the 45, the 46, but it's second and much more manageable for Viera. Johnson staying on his feet, and he'll actually get the first down. Boy, that looked like it was going to be a loss of yardage there initially. He almost ran into his own lineman, but TJ Johnson was able to get low and spin out of it, and he actually picks up the first down out ahead to about the, call it the 43-yard line of the Tigers.
That first down brought to you by Viera Pizza, the best gas station pizza ever, Jerry. Order yours tonight at 321-636-7696.
It was a gain of 6 for Johnson, so 25 yards made up in 2 plays there by the Hawks. Man goes in motion. It's going to be to Johnson. They'll gain a couple of yards there and not much else. Day-Day White there to make the tackle along with number 50, and that's Jaheim Thomas.
TJ Johnson for Viera.
He had a big kickoff classic last week, Jerry. A couple of touchdowns, lots of yards.
And Viera becoming one of those schools that you have to keep an eye on for talent if you're a collegiate recruiter or a college coach. TJ Johnson might get some of that shine pretty soon. 2nd and 9 from the 43. Norton takes the snap. He's looking. He's in trouble. He's going to get away from one. Might not get away from Thomas. Throws it. Now, is that a live ball? There's a flag. Let's see what they rule that. They're going to rule that a dead ball. So they're going to say Norton did attempt to throw the ball there. But I think that might be a late hit on Thomas or roughing the passer potentially.
Well, first of all, I don't know how it could be a roughing the passer. The quarterback gets out of the pocket, looked like he was going to try to get away with it, then threw the ball. I don't know how that's not a live football.
Same here, and I think if we had replay, they would have been able to rule differently, although it was blown dead, so not sure what you could have done. It's intentional grounding. Yeah, the ball definitely did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. And Viera killing themselves with penalties here in the early going. That is the third penalty by the Hawks already on this drive, to say nothing of the 2 on the opening kickoff. So the Hawks already in the first 4 minutes and 4 seconds of this game have 5 penalties.
Yeah, that's something that Derek Smith just simply isn't going to put up with. He's not, he's a disciplinarian, and yeah, no doubt about that.
So this will be 3rd and 28 on the Hawks' own 37-yard line. They need to get to the 34 of the Tigers. That's a big play capability here. They fake the handoff, running off tackle to the right. It's Norton, and he'll get to the 39 and not much more.
Yeah, well, you look at that play, it's going to bring up 4th down, and obviously the Hawks are going to punt here. If you're the Viera Hawks or the Coco Tigers, you've got to be satisfied with the way that entire exchange went. The only thing you don't like to see is the fact that your defense stayed on the football field for quite a while there, Jerry, nearly 4 minutes. That you don't want to see, because a lot of the guys on the Coco Tigers, they do go both ways.
Yeah, this is not a deep roster, and generally who they have out there, that's it. They don't rotate in a whole lot, and you wonder if that'll come back to get them later. It'll be Aiden Ferrer to punt, and it bounces on the snap. Tigers don't get there, though. And this will take a bounce at the 35, going to stay inside the 30, and the return man for Coco, which is Deontay Cook, had no interest in picking that one up with all the gold shirts in the area. So a good enough punt there from Ferrer to get that inside the 40. See where they mark that officially. It's going to be down at the 27-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over with exactly 8 minutes to go in this first quarter.
I'd like to thank Duncan. Visit the Bayside Lakes location to enter your favorite sports mom for the 321 Sportscast Sports Mom of the Month. 321 runs on Duncan.
So they'll mark that officially at the 27 for Coco. A couple scores coming up after this. 1st and 10 here with Arroyo. They go 3 receivers on the near side. Hand off to Keziah Holmes, and he won't get anywhere.
Boy, I tell you, now you see why Derek Smith boasted about his front 7 all summer long. Led by number 45 there, Cooper Davis, the Missouri commit. He's got a wingspan that probably runs from 120 to the other 20, and he just swallowed up Keziah Holmes on that.
With the starters for Coco, DJ Arroyo is the quarterback, Keziah Holmes the running back. The receivers are O.J. Ross, Lakota Wojciechowski, Jamari Robinson, and Adrian Manning. As Arroyo steps up, looking, throws over the middle, and that's going to be complete. It's just going to be a simple screen there. And It goes to Keziah Holmes. First tackle, the first man on the play there was Daniel Steen for Viera. The offensive line for the Tigers, it's Richie Leonard at left tackle. Hunter Gaffell is the left guard. Tavon Pratt the right guard. Tyler Roman is the right tackle. And we're looking to see at center for Coco, they actually moved it. It's Hunter Gaffell moving over to center. Ryan Schneider, even before kickoff, still wasn't sure who he was going to go with there. It'll be 2nd and 5, or 3rd and 5, I should say, and immediately met. Holmes is met by, I believe that was Gavin Beck who made the tackle. Is that correct? No, that was Daniel Steen again.
Well, you know what? This is exactly how this affair began last year. Bob, if I remember correctly, Viera making mistakes. Coco couldn't run the football, and all of a sudden, boom! This turns into one of the biggest shootouts we've seen in forever.
And might we be having a replay coming up? Set to kick, it's going to be Chavis Thompson. So Coco still very much experimenting with their kicking game. Last week it was Keontae Curry who handled the punting duty, and this week it'll be Chavis Thompson. One man back for Viera, and I believe that's Mallinger.
Ooh.
And very nearly blocked. Good job by the special teams there for Viera. Return man will just let this bounce. It's going to be down near the 20-yard line. Saquon Reeves is the one who downs it. Jeremiah Housey was back to return there. And a timeout called. I believe we got a hydration break here with 5:58 left in the first quarter.
Well, we have an opportunity here. You see, we keep the score. Gavin doing everything here. Gavin doing a great job for us tonight. Nothing. The score 5:58 to play. Opening quarter. I'd like to thank General Dental Associates, Can-Am Roofing, Farm Bureau Insurance, Carlson's Trophy Shop, Parisi Speed School and Excel Fitness and Performance, Tailor-Made Therapies, the Geiger Team at Treasure Coast Sotheby's International Realty, 321 Roofing, and S&T Cleaning is your sparkle team and gives a full top-bottom cleaning with an eye for detail. Licensed and insured, they service all of Brevard, both residential and commercial. Call the Sparkle Team at 321-208-3018. Jerry, so far, both teams have had an opportunity with the football. 5:58 to play here, quarter number one, no score. Your initial impression?
I'm very impressed by what we just saw from that Viera defense. You don't see a lot of teams forcing that kind of 3 and out from Coco. Really, the only yardage Coco gained on that first drive was just on that simple screen pass to Holmes. Bryce Norton comes back out, the junior, who's got the attention of Brevard County now. Mallinger will go in motion. Johnson is behind Norton to his right as he takes the snap. Pressure coming, rolls out to his left, and he can't get away. He's going to be sacked back down at the 14-yard line.
Oh, that's a terrible
and it's going to be
flag.
a late flag. Day White had the sack, and it's going to be a personal foul, I think.
That's a terrible flag. Let him play.
Unless he said something at the end of that, but even still,
Well,
you just got to let that go in a game like
He
this.
stepped over Bryce Norton, just walked and said something. But you know what? This is that type of a football game. As long as he doesn't, I don't know. I can't let him play a little bit. I get it, and I know that's what the coaches are saying right now. Let's go back to the play, though, for Day White. Day White initially supposed to be a guy that transitioned the linebacker a little bit this year for that defense. There we're seeing Day White with his hands still in the dirt. He gets that pursuit, and the quickness of White coming off of that defensive line is amazing. I don't agree with the call, but nonetheless, it'll still be first down for the Tigers.
Same here. You know emotions high are going to run high in a game like this. I almost feel like you'd have to have hands exchanged to throw a flag for something like that.
Right.
It's the second penalty against Coco. They were called for an offside on that first drive. And that negates the sack, which would have had it back to the 14. So that was a loss of 7. Instead, it's going to move all the way up to the 29. So it's a 15-yard basically from the spot of the foul. So what a huge swing. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 3 for Viera. 5:39 and counting in this first quarter. No score yet. Question is, for how long? Norton will fake the handoff to Johnson. He'll run left, trying to beat the man on the outside.
No.
He won't. Wrapped up expertly by Keyshawn Summers.
And that's the one thing we knew. Coco Fast, hashtag Coco Fast is what Coach Schneider always says. That's the thing they didn't seem to be able to do last year in that defensive secondary. They couldn't match the speed of Norton and those receivers. Not so to start here, Jerry.
I imagine that's got to be one of those targets when you're getting through the summer. And obviously when you're Coco, you're thinking about November and December. But when you're getting through those summers, you're thinking about that first game, and you're thinking they're not beating us again.
No.
Coco still very much believes it's their county. They certainly have a right to claim that. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 33 after the gain of 4. Handoff to Johnson as he fights his way through. Met by a bunch of Tigers. Zachary Gay was there, so was Summers again, flying all over from that safety position. They'll mark that as a gain of 4, so that'll set up 2nd and 6.
Well, I tell you, we couldn't do any of this without great sponsors like 321 Roofing. You'll see them there coming up on the bottom of your screen, but we'll leave it up there for you for a little bit. 321 Roofing, hurricane season, folks. Give them a call.
Peak of hurricane season coming.
Yeah.
Under 4.5 here in the first quarter. Johnson the man behind Norton, and he lost the snap, and he's going to have to run away from about 3 Tigers here, and he's just going to have to bite this one. All the way back to the 26-yard line, so it's a loss of 10. And then you went to fake the handoff to Johnson, and he basically just bounced it in the dirt and just had to eat the yardage there in case of maybe losing the ball again on a strip sack, or we already saw the intentional grounding on the last drive, so sometimes it's better to just not make the play and live to see another down.
You also said it. It's humid. It's moist here tonight. The grip on that ball may not be where they want it yet.
And it took a pretty high bounce, too.
Yeah.
Tell you, the turf, little tough walking down there during pregame. It's 2nd and 17.
Oh,
Throw, and that's going to be complete. In traffic, it's to Mallinger back at the 35, still on his feet to the 40. I don't know, Alan. He might have got that. And the Tigers say they have it, and they do. And coming out of the pile with the ball was Zaquan Reeves.
Oh, no, he's going to say he was down.
There's another one of those where you'd love to have replay. You know, you're not going to have it at the high school level, but
right.
Boy, oh boy, it was close as Mallinger was fighting for that first down. And it's going to bring an interesting spot here. And they're going to say with the second effort, he got it.
That was a great effort by Mallinger, other than at the end. You've got to finish there and make sure you put that ball not on the ground, but in your arms and get to the ground with it. Lucky break for the Hawks there, but a great run by Mallinger at the end.
A gain of 18 in traffic sets up 1st and 10. Handoff goes to Johnson again. Let's say I think the humidity might be working in Viera's favor because it feels like they're going right into traffic where there's 5 or 6 black jerseys and they're getting out of it consistently. Norton's done it a few times. We've seen Johnson do it a few times. We saw Mallinger on the play prior just being able to pull off this escape act.
Well, the conditioning is going to be a factor here as well. It's going to be interesting to watch as the game progresses.
Certainly everyone's amped through the roof right now. We'll see if this holds up come the 4th quarter. We got some movement on the line. Let's see what the call is. It looks like I think it's going to be a false start on Viera.
3:30 to play, opening quarter. You see it there on your screen. No score here between the Hawks and the Tigers.
And it is. It's a false start against Viera. That is 6 penalties against the Hawks here in the first quarter. And you do have to keep in mind now that this is still officially week 1. So
yeah.
You're not going to see teams be the fine-tuned machines they are come November.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you wonder if a lot of that's nerves for a game like this. Man goes in motion here, and no, they fake the sweep. Norton's going to run out to the left. He's going to have nowhere to go. He got away from one. And I want to say that was Jaheim Thomas who finished the play.
That is just perfect execution. That's a play they got beat on constantly last year in this game. That is film room study right there.
They actually gained a couple of yards. They'll get this back to, call it the 43. So they do gain 4 on the play, but it's going to be 3rd and 11. Viera's done a good job on 3rd and long already in this game. 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Norton takes the snap, runs out to his right. Looking, he's got a man, and it's complete. That's going to be good for a first down. He's over midfield, still fighting for yardage, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. Just past the 40-yard line is Jeremiah Housey, who's eventually brought out of bounds by Jaquez Hicks. Good throw on the run, and again, Alan, it's those Viera players being able to escape the clutches of the Tigers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can't leave 3-4 feet to these Viera receivers. First of all, Bryce Norton's going to put the ball in there every time. That is wide open in this game.
A gain of 19 on the play to set up another 1st and 10. It's to Johnson. He's got some room to work with here. Over his feet, or on his feet, over the 30. He'll be brought down Calling about the 29-yard line. With the Hawks going right to left, and T.J. Johnson kind of doing whatever he wants right now on the ground.
Yeah, the Viera Hawks right now, this is a great drive for them as long as they can keep it mistake-free. It looks like they seem to have right now a little bit of a conditioning edge on that Tiger front seven.
It'll be 2nd and 1 from the 27, so call that a gain of 9 for Johnson. It's not often that you see a Brevard County team do this to Coco. Can they make it count, though? Hand off to Johnson. He's got the first. He's still on top of one of his linemen there. Last Tiger out of the pile there was A.J. Williams. It'll be enough for a first. We'll see where. I think he might have got it to the 25 as kind of work our way through the traffic. They'll say the 26, so call that a gain of 1.
Got a pretty even split on the message board. Everybody kind of split down the middle who they're cheering for.
1st and 10 from the 26. Norton looking down the right side and wide open. Until the very last second, I believe that was Hicks who broke it up. He was looking for Jeremiah Housey on the far sideline, and he was there. And Jaquez Hicks, the safety, just slid over and broke that up at the very last second. Otherwise, Housey's in the end zone.
That is a great defensive play because that receiver was wide open. You heard me say touchdown, and then out of nowhere comes the defensive back.
And I bet you Jaquez Hicks is going to be looking for that clip going, that's what I do. It'll be 2nd and 10. This is already the 11th play of the drive for Viera. Not counting, we have our drive log here, and there's only one spot that's been taken out for a penalty. And this drive is over 4.5 minutes long already. So Viera moving quick and doing a lot. Nallinger will go in motion. He jumped. He tried to time it, and he was about a second ahead of the play, and that'll hurt Viera again. Their 7th penalty this quarter.
If that were the Canadian Football League, he'd have been gone. But it was not. It's high school football in Brevard County. False start. That'll back them up 5. That'll also stop the clock with 1:15 to play now. No score, Hawks Tigers. First quarter. We'd like to tell everybody that this portion that the Viera Hawks right now are inside of the Gentle Dental Associates red zone, or getting there anyway, or they were there.
So it'll be officially 2nd and 15 at the 31. Norton takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Housey. He's got plenty of time. Hit as he throws it, going deep for Mallinger. Did he get a foot down in the back of the end zone? No, he did not. You only need one in high school, and there's another one. That's about the 3rd or 4th play already this quarter, Alan, where I'm like, I really want to see that one.
Yeah, I'm looking here. We're just a split second behind. He got a foot down, Jerry, on our lag behind, but it was just, it's got to be, he has heel hit out first, it looked like.
It was very close from here. That'll set up 3rd and 15, 1:05 to go in the quarter. Quick check of the scoreboard, by the way. Missed field goal by Palm Bay, and the Melbourne Bulldogs leading Palm Bay 7-6 with 4:47 to go in the first quarter. Satellite. We got that now. We'll mark that into the book.
What was that one?
An unsportsmanlike conduct, and I'm wondering if it's related to the throw where Norton got hit as he threw it, and there must have been some woofing going on at the end of the play. You imagine there's going to be a lot of talk going on the field in a game like this. The Satellite Scorpions at home tonight against Berean Christian, having no trouble. First quarter there down at Scorpion Stadium. They're up 21-0. We'll get a look at the Scorpions next Thursday night when they host Bayside. Alan and I will have that one for you. Ted Kimmy and the staff there doing a great job at keeping the program on the upswing there on the beach side. 3rd and 15 with 1:05 to go in this first quarter, and Ryan Schneider now going over to Charlie Zitten and saying, what'd we do?
Yeah.
Well, both these teams are ready. No one's moved. Usually when you see the coaches arguing, the players will step back because they know this is going to be a couple minutes. These guys are ready. They're ready to go on every single play. This is going to be a 36-minute war and then some. And I think Charlie Sitton might be having to explain this to the Viera staff as well. That's as close as we've been all night to a score. Seen a lot of action, but neither team has officially reached the red zone yet. Matter of fact, Viera's had this for most of the quarter.
Yeah, keep your eye on that shadows, too, that sun.
Handoff goes to TJ Johnson. He'll get it over the 25. Another ball that comes out at the end of the play. Coco thought they had it, but the refs adamant in blowing it dead. It might have got back to the original line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. So call it a gain of, call it 7. He actually did get back to the original line and then a little bit more, but it won't be enough for the first. And this kind of puts the Hawks in no man's land, Allen. They're going to try to kick this. They're going to have Aiden Ferrer come out to kick. The holder will be Zach Sideros, the safety.
Zach last week a defensive ESPN Defensive Player of the Week with 2 picks. One of them returned 95 yards for a touchdown. Now he's holding.
So they've got this at about the 32-yard line. So this would be about a 42-yard field goal here. Snap hold is down. Ferrer's kick is up.
Oh!
And that's going to curve back.
Good.
And it's good. It just got over the bar. That did not look like it had the leg when it left Ferrer. But it'll clear, and the Hawks will take the lead with 6 seconds remaining in this first quarter. It's Viera 3, Coco 0.
Unbelievable kick there. I got to tell you, it's the one thing Derek Smith said he was the most proudest of his team, the biggest improvement from this year to last year, the kicking game. Last year in the game against Plant, they missed 5 extra points. 5 extra points last year. And I got to tell you, Coach Smith said he was not going to have that this year and was going to do whatever it took to get a kicker. And that field goal right there, Jerry, proves Coach Smith wasn't playing around. Just 6 seconds to go. There you see the score in the upper right-hand corner. 3-0 Hawks on top.
So that drive took 5 minutes and 52 seconds off the clock. Officially, we tally up and take the penalties off. That was a 14-play drive that covered 81 yards. And it's not often you see drives like that against a Coco defense. Usually it's a quick strike if you're going to get a score against them, or when you see a University or a Booker T, they're going to get those quick scores. It's not often teams are methodical against Coco like that.
Yeah, how many plays with that drive again?
14.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't see a lot of those. So set to kick off here for Viera. And that is going to be number 86, Jared Perdomo, and that's going to be fielded at the 15 by O.J. Ross. He's out to the 20, stayed on his feet to about the 25. He'll be met there, and that will end the first quarter. A lot of action, but not a lot to show for it on the board, but the Hawks clearly getting the better of the play. After 1, it's Viera 3, Coco 0.
All right, well, we have an opportunity here. No doubt this doesn't happen, aside from Gavin Keith here with me today and Jerry Durney, the great people that help sponsor 321 Sportscast. How about Sunset View Windows and Doors? Is a veteran and family-owned and operated business and is Brevard's premier window and door company. 321-257-4422. And I'm telling you, these are numbers you need to be writing down, and God help us. God forbid should anything move in from the Atlantic, but these are good numbers to have. And you know what? For that storm party you may have, give Mike Acosta and his friends a call at Viera Pizza. Paige and the gang, they do a great job, and it's the best gas station pizza ever. It certainly is better than gas station pizza, but that's what Mike says. 321-636-7696. How about Duncan? Brevard runs on Duncan. Visit the Bayside Lakes location to enter your favorite sports mom for the 321 Sportscast Sports Mom of the Month. The 321 runs on Duncan, Jerry.
When we're talking about that Viera gas station pizza, tell them Mother Nature sent you.
Yeah, right?
It'll be 1st and 10 at the 25 for Coco as we start the second quarter. Tigers trail 3-0. It goes to Holmes on first down, and he's going to be tripped up. And it'll be interesting to see if Ryan Schneider tries to switch it up like we saw last week. We saw a lot of Amari Gaines as that game went on against Bayside, and it was actually Amari who had that long 75-yard run right before the end of the first half last week at Bayside. And he's showing he could be just as much of a home run threat as Keziah Holmes. And some confusion in terms of the personnel, at least on the Coco side of the field, as it sets up 2nd and 8.
Now, the new play clock this year gives you 45 seconds. So, 45 seconds.
Arroyo will throw, and it's going to be complete, and he slipped. And they're going to say that play's dead immediately. The tackle there, and it looked like DeAndre Lewis was the one who made the stop. It went to Adrian Manning, but I think they lost yardage on the play. That'll set up 3rd and long.
Well, the one thing that Arroyo did a lot last year, and he did it a couple times in this game. He hit Keziah Holmes in this game last year for a 72-yard touchdown pass. He only threw the ball 8 yards. So that's offsides. No, they threw the flag. See, we talked about this last week, Jerry. That's number 31, Julius Barfield there, trying to get an early jump. But what happened to the days where the defensive player could step back across the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, it didn't affect the play. Didn't draw the offense into a false start. So they'll gain 5 yards on the offside there. That'll set up 3rd, and they're going to call it 6 here at the 29, right at the 30 for Coco. Arroyo looking to throw. It's going to be complete, and that'll be enough for the first down out to the 41-yard line. It's Manning again. Tackle made on the play by Bryce Reynolds. Matter of fact, let's give you the starters for the Coco offense. So actually, we did give you that. We never gave you the Viera defense. The 2 ends will be Juju Barfield and, of course, Cooper Davis. The tackles for Viera, we mentioned Jamari Lyons along with Jackson Hatfield. Expect to see Nate Acevedo too. Handoff up the middle, and it's going to go to Holmes. He'll gain maybe 2. And they'll set up 2nd and call it 8. For the rest of that Viera defense, the linebackers we mentioned, DeAndre Lewis, Jalen Housey, Zach Taylor, and Daniel Steen. Bryce Reynolds and Cato Holmes are the corners. And Zach Sideros is the safety. Already had a big week last week with that pick 6 against Liberty. Arroyo looking to throw. It's complete on the slant over the middle. Still got room to work with here. Into Hawk territory. And out to about the 44-yard line. They'll call it the 43, actually. Looking to see who came out of there, and it was O.J. Ross.
That's Coco's game right there. The quick slants across the middle. DJ Arroyo perfects that. You see he's locked in with his receivers. The timing is there, even though it's week 1. That's a 15 or whatever yard gain that was. Enough for a Coco first down.
They'll call it 13 on the gain there, but it's the first time tonight that the Tigers have moved into Viera territory. 9:43 to go here in the second quarter. Handoff will go here to Keziah Holmes. He gets pushed back with quite a bit of force. We're going to see who was out of there for Viera, and it was Zach Taylor who made the tackle.
I tell you, the one thing I like about Keziah Holmes this year is one of the knocks on Crazy 8 last year was, would he hold on to the ball if he could take a real hard hit? Well, we just saw there that he did.
He got thrown back there like he was at Uncle Phil's house. Going to go to Holmes again. He's over the 40, moving ahead to the 35, get it to the 34-yard line. It was Housey who made the tackle along with Juju Barfield. That's a gain of 10. That'll move the sticks.
Well, and this is exactly Coco's rhythm right now. You see him right back to the line of scrimmage, moving the ball. DJ Arroyo's got his offense in sync. The line's ready to go, calling the plays. This is working out the first quarter kinks. You're seeing it now. Keep your eyes on number 85 checking in. That's the big tight end, Jerry, we saw last week with some big plays across the middle.
It's a gain of 7. It's 1st and 10 at the Hawk 34. Arroyo takes the snap. They're going to pitch here, and it is going to be Holmes once again. Tackle made on the play. It was Cooper Davis, who was a little slow getting up, and he's going to immediately go over to the Hawks sideline. And the way he's leaning, I almost wonder if it's something with his shoulder. No, just had something urgent to say. He'll come back on. Well, loss of 2. You certainly don't want to see something happen to a talent like Cooper Davis. And
no.
Immediately he kind of got up. It looked like he was almost favoring his left side there. So I apologize for jumping the gun.
Cramps, maybe.
And certainly to be expected at this time of year.
I'd like to welcome in Mark Petrozello.
He's 2nd and 12.
Bailey.
Might have seen some movement there. And the Hawks get into the backfield anyway. And that was a sack there by Zach Taylor. And the Coco side kind of having some issues there, saying, hey, we got penalized for that on our sack.
Right.
How come they're not calling that?
No,
and I kind of agree with them.
That's a legitimate complaint there, Jerry. That's for sure.
That'll set up 3rd and long. They'll mark this back at the 41-yard line of the Hawks, so that's a loss of 5 on the sack. 4:16 to go in the first quarter. Satellite continuing to extend their lead over Berea Christian. It's out to 28-0. They might have a quick night at the office, which is good for them because they're going to have the short week with the matchup against Bayside on Thursday. Officially 3rd and 17 from the 24.
Like to say hello to Mark Christian, James Frizzell.
Royal looking to throw over the middle. He's got Manning. Did he hang on to it? He did. He was wearing Bryce Reynolds like an expensive mink and somehow held on to the football. And the Tigers, I believe, are into the red zone for the first time tonight.
There it is, inside of the Can-Am Roofing red zone. DJ Arroyo with a big pass there. That's all timing. The receiver turned, the ball was there. That's perfect execution from DJ Arroyo.
It's a gain of 21 on 3rd and 17. This drive's almost 5 minutes long already. Holmes will be the back to the right of Arroyo. They go 2 receivers on the near side left. Arroyo will hand off to Holmes, taking his time, trying to wait for the blocks to set up, but that Viera front just did not allow it to happen. Zach Taylor, the first one there to bring Holmes down.
I'd like to welcome in Connie Lynn Denneberg, TJ McMahon, and Tony Davis watching. Connie, we're going to be in touch soon. Lots of volleyball going on here on 321 Sportscast, Jerry. We had a great one last night with Merritt Island and Satellite.
I'll tell you what, if you want to cover Brevard County volleyball, Merritt Island's a good place to start. Arroyo throwing on 2nd and 11.
Oh,
He had the man beat. Just a little long there looking for Jamari Robinson. It was just out of his reach. I tell you, he had a good touch on the ball, just a little long. And we have enough. Well, they're going to call it for the hydration break here as we're just at about the midway point of the second quarter. It's going to be 3rd and 10 from the Viera 19 when we resume.
I'd like to welcome in LaKasha Hicks. Trey Howard, I'm waiting on a pick, she says. Again, Tony Davis, TJ McMahon, Muffy Allen is watching. And, of course, Dawn Keith, Carl Lewis, Dylan Rita, Owens Khalil. I got to tell you, it's great to have high school football back here. Week 1, Brevard County, 321 Sportscast, Jerry. It's been an awfully busy offseason for us here at 321 Sportscast.
So you're getting this thing going. It's been an awfully busy summer around Brevard County with a lot of the names that have moved on and a lot of the names that are changing locations. And a lot of the longtime stalwarts in this county have moved on too.
Wayne Perry says he's watching from Iran.
Wayne, God bless you.
Yeah.
It'll be 3rd and 10 at the Viera 19, and they're going to blow this dead. We'll see for what.
Corey Johnson says you all got the score up there now. Next you all have replays. Gavin Keith's working on it.
We're working on getting some bodies in here.
That's for sure.
It's a false start against Coco, and unofficially, I want to say that's their 4th or 5th penalty in this game. That'll set up 3rd and 16 back at the Hawk 24, and that would be an interesting test for Ryan Schneider. Does he want to send Nick King out from there? It would be about a 41-yard field goal from there. Arroyo takes the snap. He's going to get away from one, gets away from another. He's going to tuck this and run. He's inside the 10, still on his feet, and tried to tiptoe the sideline, and I want to say that's going to be enough for a first. If not, it's going to be 4th and very short.
Well, he certainly did the right thing there. Look, he found his gap. He ran. He stepped out of bounds. He didn't take the hard hit that was sure to come. That's a mistake a lot of young quarterbacks make today. They want to bury their head and have something to prove. Get out of bounds.
Let's see where they mark it. And it's going to be 4th and call it 2 from the 12. So they need to get to the...
They're going to try to... Oh. They went. Oh, there
they're
it is.
They're going to go with the pitch to Holmes. He'll run outside to the right. He's
got
the first down and then some. He's inside the 5. And he goes spiraling out of bounds at about, let's see where they marked this. It's going to be about the 3-yard line.
That's the first time I've ever seen the Coco Tigers line up under center in 2 years under Ryan Schneider, Jerry.
And like we talked about last week, when I was covering high school football earlier this decade from 2010 to 2013, Coco passing the ball was something you documented, and now it's the reverse.
Yeah, 2 years ago under John Wilkinson, the Coco Tigers ran the football 69% of the time. Last year, the opposite. Ryan Schneider comes in, they throw it 70% of the time. You know what? One didn't work any better than the other because the result was the same for both coaches, a loss in the state championship game to the same football team. This year, with Amarian Gaines and Keziah Holmes and O.J. Ross back there, it certainly is going to be interesting to see what that run-pass percentage is going to be, Jerry.
Yeah, and I wonder how much Ryan Schneider would point that to be it. Did we run it too much? Did we try to out-finesse teams? Do we want to get back to what made Coco great in the first place, which is just being able to run it with speed and more speed? And I think that's what this regular season is going to be for the Coco Tigers, is figuring out how you get back over that final hurdle.
Inside of the Sunset View windows and doors, red zone for DJ Arroyo. Turn it back over here to my partner, Jerry Durney.
Thank you, Alan. Richie Leonard is in as a fullback here on 1st and goal from the 2. 6:05 to go in the half. Arroyo takes the snap. It is going to be Keziah Holmes, and he can walk into the end zone onto the left side. It's the first official touchdown of the season for Keziah Holmes, and the Tigers take the lead on a drive that takes exactly half the second quarter. It's Coco 6, Viera 3.
Beautifully executed drive by the Coco Tigers. And, Richie Leonard told me about a month and a half ago when we had him in studio, I said, Richie, I know there's some things you want to do. And actually, it wasn't Richie Leonard back there. It was Day White that lined up as the fullback there, big number 44. Even Day told me he was going to get in the backfield, play some fullback. Day seals off that side of the Coco or the Viera defense. And as you alluded to, Jerry, Crazy 8, Keziah Holmes walks into the end zone.
You know what? And I think I had the mistake there I know Richie Leonard's basketball number is 44.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right. Of course, that's a good call.
Of course, Richie on the football field wears number 76. Richie, not a bad little post player for the Coco basketball team. Of course, this past spring, Coco got all the way to the region final. They picked up their first district title in almost a decade.
Pop. How about Pop and the job he did with that team?
It was amazing to see how quickly that turned around in the second half of that season. And Coco able to get that district championship with just relentless defense in basketball. And here's very much what their football team is doing here tonight. And Nick King will be on to attempt the extra point. And I want to check the log here. So there were 2 penalties. Coco also had a 14-play drive that spanned 75 yards. Started at the very beginning of this quarter, so it took exactly half the quarter for Coco to go 75 yards. So they've matched the Hawks drive for drive as King's extra point is up, and it is good. And with 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter, it's Coco 7, Viera 3.
We were talking about that Coco basketball team. Fuzzy, Pop. We had Fuzzy brought his guys in studio. Fuzzy and Pop and the gang, Mikey. They were all in there. I got to tell you, you could literally watch the transformation of that basketball team. I don't know what it was, what happened. They won 8 regular season games.
Yep. They lost their last 5 in the regular season.
Something just clicked there, and I got to tell you, if you're Principal Wilson, Rashad Wilson, look at you. Yesterday we covered bowling. Michael Bauer, great bowling team. Mitzi, Coach Mitzi on the swim team. Ryan Schneider, Fuzzy. What a great athletic department Mark Karstens has here.
And same with Asia Patrick with the girls program.
Right.
Not this past year, but in 2018, took her team to the region final.
Yeah. How could I forget Coach Patrick's going to be mad at me?
We both know her. We'll be able to smooth that one.
Yeah, right. I got a text today, speaking of women's basketball coach, from Ariel Wilson, former Melbourne head coach. She's got some news. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll wait for Ariel to break it if she hasn't already. Hey, like to welcome in Bill Posey watching.
We got
Congressman Posey?
Boy, we got some high-profile guests.
Yeah.
King set to kick off, and it's 3 men back deep for Viera. Had a pretty good return on that first one. This will only be the 5th drive of the game. We went through that pretty quickly last week at Bayside. This will be fielded again by Davis Mallinger, just shy of the 10-yard line. He'll run to the left, gets away from 1, trying to get away from 2. And now he's going to cut back and come across the other way. Picks up a couple of blockers there. And I think this is going to be coming back regardless. He's going to be let out of bounds near the 29-yard line. And there's going to be another flag at the end of the play there for a horse collar.
Yeah, that one. I think Coach Snyder will have a conversation with his player on that one. That was about 4 or 5 yards out of bounds. didn't. Oh, thank you, Congressman, for logging on and checking us out. Thank you for all that you do here for us in Brevard County, of course, up in Washington, D.C. But I think when you look at this play, he's going to be upset with his player there. Tackled him 4 or 5 yards out of bounds. I didn't see the block in the back.
You figure just when you see a play extend like that on a return, more often than not, I'm shocked if you don't see a flag, because it usually does take a block in the back, where you see Mallinger cutting over to the far sideline and then immediately just come back on a dime the other way. Against a team like Coco, you don't see plays extend like that very much.
No, you really don't.
There's usually a hook.
7-3 is the score here, Coco over Viera. And while they there's the personal foul call against the Coco Tigers. And this is just simply going to be, offsetting penalties here? I mean, do you kick this over, or how does this happen?
I did see multiple flags before the horse collar, so I almost wonder if there's 2 separate instances against Viera.
Personal foul, late hit.
Well, they're going to mark it at the 25, and that's about where Mallinger went out of bounds. So
yeah.
It looks like they offset.
We get set here. There is 5:44 to play. Tigers on top, 7-3 over the Hawks here. Second quarter brought to you by Carlson's Trophy Shop and Can-Am Roofing.
Norton will throw here on 1st and 10. It's going to be a dump off to T.J. Johnson. He won't get much of anywhere. A couple of the Tigers leading the play there. It was A.J. Williams along with Day-Day White.
All you saw were black jerseys there, and Day-Day White, once again, relentless pursuit. Day-Day's been starting for this team since he was an 8th grader. Played for Coach John Wilkinson and now Coach Ryan Schneider. Day-Day White is just an unbelievable defensive tackle. He told me about 3 weeks ago he's going to play some linebacker. Haven't seen it yet.
There's officially a loss of 4 on the play as Norton takes the snap, runs to his right. Now he's going to come back left, still looking. Thomas closing in, and Norton's just going to have to get to the sideline. Might have gained a couple of yards back, but not much else. I'll tell you what I'm interested to see, Alan, and officially Day-Day White is listed, he's a junior, at 5'9", 260 pounds. If Day-Day can get one more growth spurt and get up to even like 5'11", you imagine what kind of Division I offers are going to be awaiting him. He might have them already.
It'll be easy to tell you the schools that didn't offer him and the ones that do.
You'd say that about a lot of Coco players over the last decade plus. 3rd and 13 for the Hawks on their own 22. And at this point, if you're Viera, you're not even thinking about scoring. You just want to give your defense a breather. Norton takes the snap. It was a bit of a low one. Still looking to throw. He will. Throws toward the sideline. It was incomplete. It looked like they were looking for T.J. Johnson out in the flat there. Good coverage applied by Keontae Curry.
This still kind of feels like a feeling out process to me for these two teams. You know, one not willing to make that big play down the field that we saw last year in that 1,100-yard 49-42 game. But look, it was a low-scoring affair just before the half last year until it exploded. We'll see what awaits us in the final 4:54 here as the Hawks have it, and it's 4th down now.
Well, early on, it looked like we were going to get a track meet, and then we've had those 2 long drives, and that's kind of stunted everything, and I think they might have gotten a hand on that kick. There is a flag even before they got to the block, and it's going to be downed in Hawk territory, but let's see if this holds.
Down by number 5, Jeremiah Housey.
I want to say the Tiger who got a block on it was Zaquan Reeves. But it's a false start against Viera, so if you're Coco, you almost take this. You're going to have the ball in Viera territory. And let's see what Ryan Schneider chooses to do. There's 4:45 on the clock. Waiting to see. Viera's defense is on the field already. I think we're all kind of waiting to see. Coco hasn't sent anybody. Although the punt unit's coming back on the field now for Viera. And an update on that Satellite Berea Christian game. The Scorpions are now up 35-0 with 9:57 left in the first half there. So if that holds till halftime, they'll hit the running clock, and that's exactly what Ted Kimmy and his staff will want to see. It'll give them a short Friday and it'll allow them to rest up. They've got a short week coming. Again, Alan and I will be live from Scorpion Stadium next Thursday night at 7 as Satellite hosts Bayside, and then next Friday, we'll head over the O'Galley Causeway and cover the O'Galley Commodores as they take on Hernando.
I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for both of them, but I really want to see Dink Jackson the four-star junior defensive back.
I was very impressed to see what this O'Galley team looks like and getting a chance to see it in person. Arroyo going long on 1st and 10. He's got it. No, and it bounced off his hands. Initially he had it, and Jamari Robinson dropped it, and I don't know if his balance would have kept him inbounds, but at the very least, did they call a roughing the passer
Yeah, they
there?
did. They absolutely did.
So another big penalty against the Hawks. They've got to be near 10 for the half.
That's a bad penalty to take right there.
Jamari Robinson had beaten his man down the field and just couldn't hang on to it, but it almost doesn't even hurt the Tigers here because they're now going to have 1st and 10 at the 34. And it stops the clock with 4:38 left in the half. And, you know, we talked about conditioning, Alan. I wonder how exhausted that Viera defense is. They were just on the field for 6+ minutes, and a little over a minute later, they're back out there, at least in game time. 1st and 10 from the 34. Arroyo looking to throw. It's going to be complete to Manning. Spins away from one at the 30. 20, 15, 10. And he's going to be let out of bounds by a couple of Hawks. And the Tigers, just like that, are right back in scoring position. Zach Sideros was the first Hawk to lead him out of bounds, and so was Jeremiah Housey. But the Tigers threatening to get some breathing room here late in the first half.
Maybe that's the big play that will spark both of these teams as we looks like we are now headed for the hydration break here, or it's a timeout actually for the Viera Hawks. I tell you, you look at that play, that's a perfect little out route, not even an out route, just a little curl pattern there. He turns and down the sidelines. That's all speed. You force them to catch you. The Hawks do, luckily for them. Now maybe Coach Smith, who runs that defense, telling them, tighten up here, boys. We got to keep them out of the end zone. A 14-3 lead right now. That's huge.
And once you get into a double-digit deficit against Coco, you play right into the strength of that defense. Really any defense when you have a double-digit deficit. You become predictable. You know Viera wants to throw that football anyway, but in a game like this, you want to give the disguise of, well, we could give this to T.J. Johnson, and you know, they've been able to gash up the middle a lot here in the early going. They've had success running the football. If you get down double digits, especially considering that when the second half starts, Alan, Coco's going to get the ball to start.
Yep.
You become predictable because you're trying to make it up all at once.
Right back here to the line of scrimmage, the Tigers come.
It's 1st and goal from the 8. Day White again in as a blocking back, and a timeout's going to be called by Coco.
Little bit of gamesmanship going on here, Jerry, as Derek Smith calls a timeout, sets his defense. Ryan Schneider sees what he sets. Now he calls the timeout to maybe change things up a little bit for his team. But while we have another timeout on the field, I want to tell everybody about some of the great sponsors that help bring you a Brevard County High School football each and every week. How about the Geiger team at Treasure Coast Sotheby's International Realty? Artfully uniting extraordinary homes with extraordinary lives along the Space Coast of Florida. And S&T Cleaning. S&T Cleaning is your sparkle team and gives a full top-to-bottom cleaning with an eye for detail. Licensed and insured, they service all of Brevard, both residential and commercial. Team Sparkle at 321-208-3018 or the email address stsparkle@yahoo.com. And here to tell you if the Tigers will score, my partner, Jerry Durney.
Thank you very much, Alan Zlotowski. It's 1st and goal from the 8. Arroyo will hand to Holmes. He'll take it to the right side, and he'll get stopped just at the goal line. It was Daniel Steen who made the stop.
Brought down by number 36.
I'll say that it's not Keziah Holmes. It's actually going to be Amarian Gaines. And they'll make this switch again.
That threw us last week. It's tough to decipher between that 6 and that 8 last week.
I thought we would get a little bit of help this week with the orange against the black as opposed to the orange against the white. I was sorely mistaken. It's a gain of 2. 2nd and goal here for Coco. They're trying to extend this to a double-digit lead inside 4 minutes in the second quarter. Arroyo takes the snap. They will fake the handoff to Gaines as Arroyo rolls out to his right. Looking, he's got a man. It's incomplete. And it could have been an interference there against Zach Sideros. I thought he was holding on to the receiver as he went to make the catch. Instead, it's going to be incomplete. They were looking for O.J. Ross.
Brandon Bailey says Viera playing with boots on for cleats. Pierce Wade watching. Donnie Reber. Donnie, welcome, buddy. Great job over at Eastern Florida State last night covering both games of that soccer match with the women and the men's.
And this is the trouble you run into if you don't get it in on 1st and goal. It becomes 3rd and goal pretty quick.
Yep.
3rd and goal
There's
from the 6.
offsides.
They'll get some help. A couple of Hawks moved, one of them being Julius Barfield.
It's his second one of the half, Jerry.
And I don't have an official count, and I'm going to try to do this during the halftime break, but Viera have to be near 9 or 10 penalties. And that's to say none of the ones that were offsetting.
Right.
Middle of the second quarter, Merritt Island Christian under Greg Gage, former Satellite Scorpion. They are at home tonight against Warner Christian. 0-0 in the middle of the second quarter there. 3rd and goal, and it was a half the distance penalty, so it's going to be at the 4-yard line. 3 receivers on the far side right as Arroyo takes a snap, pressure coming, throws for Manning, and he's going to lose yardage.
Careful,
he's going to be back by the 10. And we're going to see who made the tackle there for the Hogs, and it was Jeremiah Housey and Johnny Eaton who made the tackle, and that'll bring on Nick King. And if you're Derek Smith and your defensive coordinator Ken Rita, that's a win.
Yeah, I tell you what, I saw them pick him up, and boy, what a mistake it would have been to slam him to the ground. Good discipline there not to do that, Jerry.
They'll officially call that a loss of 4. So, say mark the ball at the 8-yard line. So this will be about a 25-yard field goal for Nick King here. He made all his kicks last week. This is his first field goal attempt. Actually, let's call this a 24. The hold's going to be at the 14. So the kick's on the way, very nearly blocked. Kick is up, and it is good. So Nick King, in his first official field goal attempt as a Coco Tiger, does his job. And for the Tigers, that will be a drive of 6 plays. It goes 42 yards, and it takes 2 minutes off the clock. And with 2:50 to go in the second quarter, it's Coco 10, Viera 3.
You know, Rob McKenna, the special teams coach for the Coco Tigers, told me how much he absolutely loves his kickers. And what he loves more than that is what you're going to see coming up here, his kickoff team. He said this is, look, McKenna's been around this county a long time, coaching special teams and players. And he told me that this is one of the most ferocious special teams he's ever coached. It's going to be interesting here to see this.
We'll see what the Tigers want to do. 2:50 to go, and both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. So you wonder how Viera wants to approach this. Again, Coco won the toss and deferred, so Viera got the ball to start the game. So that means Coco's going to get it to start the third. And if you're Viera, you don't know when you're going to get the ball again. And
I think you got to score here if you're Viera.
Yeah, you want a house call here. And not even just 3, but you definitely want to get points on the board as King is set to kick off. And it's 3 men back again. It's Johnson, Housey, and Mallinger. Mallinger's had plenty of success. We'll see if they kick away from him here. And they can't quite. It's going to be fielded near the 15,
nice
although he's
tackle.
tripped up. Tripped up there, and it looked like for Coco, that was number 20. That was Jason Miller, the senior cornerback, able to make the tackle at about the 26-yard line. That's where the Hawks will take over with 2:45 left in the half.
Well, then that's exactly what I was just talking about from McKenna. Hold your lane. Don't get out of your lane. And if you get past the runner, get your arms out. Because arm tackles like that on special teams trip up runners, and you let your guys coming down in their lanes do their job. And you saw that there.
And everybody can do something.
You know, special teams,
on special
I was
teams.
going to say, special teams used to be a thing that you played to make the team. McKenna has taken the approach this year, and it's important to talk about it because I think it's going to make a difference in this game. McKenna's approach this year has been, you're not playing special teams to make the team, you're playing it because you're good.
Yeah, you're a part of this team.
Right.
You know, the good teams emphasize, and we got another penalty, it looked like. And I'm not sure what that was.
Like to thank Congressman Posey once again for checking out the broadcast tonight.
Well, they've got this moved all the way back to what looks like the 13-yard line. So another penalty there. And Well, it has just gotten out of hand for both teams. I would say we've had almost 20 combined penalties in this first half.
Certainly a first game in terms of flags. Some of them, it's for the officials too, Jerry. Some of these flags should have stayed in the pocket.
Hawks have to go 87 yards to tie here right before half. Handoff goes to T.J. Johnson, and he's had a bit more of a struggle trying to get through this defense as the half's gone along, and a timeout's going to be called by the Coco defense.
Yeah, why
I think
not?
Ryan Schneider wants one more shot at it. If his defense can get a quick stop, you'd be looking at about 2 minutes left in the half. And with your playmakers, you think, why not? We don't even need the timeouts.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, if you're Viera right now, the one thing you don't want to do is, first of all, you don't want to keep going backwards. And second of all, you certainly don't want to make a mistake with that football.
Especially that, and you want to be able to chew up time on the clock. And now it's almost to the point that you're not even thinking about points. It's don't let Coco get the ball in a good position with time to work.
So if you're the Coco Tigers right now, I think everything that you've anticipated in terms of what was going to happen this week is definitely playing out in your favor. You practiced physically this week. You stayed long. You did what you had to do. Like I said, they drove that sled around this field constantly. That type of game is what we're watching right now, Jerry.
The Hawks head back to the field. And they have the ball marked at the 10, so it was a loss of 3 for Johnson on the play. To make it 2nd and 13, 2:36 remaining. Man in motion was Jeremiah Housey. Trips receivers on the far side left. Mallinger will go in motion once again. Play clock's got to be almost up as Norton's going to get flushed out of the pocket. He'll throw, and it's complete. And I wonder if that's a legal pass. And a hit towards the end of the play right there on the sidelines.
Wow.
It was T.J. Johnson, and they got to break him up there on the far sideline. That was John Tavius Thomas and Keontae Curry at the end of that play. There's another one, Alan, where with the speed of the game, it looked very close, and I wasn't sure if that was going to be a legal pass.
Yeah, no, he certainly had one of his eyes on where that marker was because he didn't cross it before he threw it.
And I think he might have gotten the first down with it, and he did. They've got this marked at about the 28-yard line. Hey, they've kind of been all over with that, with the change there on this drive. Well, they got it now at the 29, so call that a gain of 19. Norton out of the gun. Handoff goes to T.J. Johnson. He'll gain maybe 3, not much else. As that Coco defense starting to absorb the Viera running game, and it was Samaine Newton who made the tackle. Clock moving at 2:08 and counting here in this first half. The Hawks still have 2 timeouts. Coco with 1. Norton takes the snap, throws across the way. It's going to be complete to Mallinger. Gets a block. He's over the 40. He's got the first down. Still on his feet to the 45, and he's going to be let out of bounds there by a Tiger defender. I believe that was Zaquan Reeves.
All right, out of bounds, stops the clock. He's going to move the sticks as well. 1:53 to go here in the half. And, Jerry, I think now if you're Derek Smith, obviously you want to get into the end zone. But what we saw earlier was you can hit it from 40 yards, your kicker can.
Yeah, you've got the ace in the hole in Ferrer, and that's going to be a gain of 13 on that pass to Mallinger. 1:53 with the clock stopped. Norton stays out of the gun. Handoff goes to Johnson, runs right into the line. Able to hang on to it despite the best attempts at Day White to try to rip it out of there. He'll have gained, looks like just a yard. That'll bring it, oh no, they're going to give him the second effort there out to the 48, so call that a gain of 2. Sets up 2nd and 8. 90 seconds left in this first half. Tigers leading 10-3. Johnson lined up to the left of Norton. 2 receivers left and right. Norton takes the snap. Looking, he's got pressure coming from White. Can't quite get away from him, although he does get over midfield. They'll mark that play dead. See exactly where.
That's as good as a sack. If you're, first of all, it took some time off the clock there. You stop Norton, and now it brings up 3rd, and you're not on the good side of 3rd down.
It's a gain of 4 on the play for Norton. That'll bring the ball. They're going to mark it at the 49-yard line of the Tigers, so a gain of 3. They need to get to the Coco 43. Clock is running. So call this 3rd and 6. Hawks still with 2 timeouts. Pressure coming from Norton. He'll go downfield. He's got a man. It's Mallinger.
Oh, he got it.
It's actually going to be caught by Donovan Giles. How on earth? And there's a flag well after the play is over. I have no idea how Donovan Giles tracked that one down.
Here we go, Jerry. This is exactly what took place last year just before the half.
And it's down at about the 10-yard line.
What is this flag?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, they're marking the ball down at about the 7-yard line. So it looks like it should be a good pass. If it holds, it's a gain of 42.
What a nice job, too, by Gavin Keith, the cameraman, to catch that one. Up close, you saw that here on 321 Sportscast.
We're waiting for the deliberation from our officiating crew, our lead official tonight, Charlie Sitton. We'll have some scores for you coming up on the halftime show, and along with both bands as well here in action tonight. And it's a holding penalty against Coco. They'll decline it. So it's going to be 1st and goal for the Hawks with 33 seconds remaining.
Rockledge up 12-0 over Warner, Georgia at the moment. That's a team too, Jerry. When we talk about state championships this year, the Raiders certainly got to be in the mix there.
Yeah, they're ranked in the top 10 in the preseason poll in Class 5A, as Coco will use their final timeout of the half with 29 seconds remaining, and this could be, if not a defining moment in this game, one that looms large.
Yeah, no doubt. As you look right now, and Viera, look, I have to be honest with you. Both long passes from the Hawks. I love this kid, Bryce Norton. But both of the passes he's completed lengthwise have just been kind of throw them up, Jerry, and let my receivers go get them. Luckily for him, on both occasions, his receivers came down with him.
Yeah, Mallinger was sort of falling away from the ball on his, and Donovan Giles on that one just was sort of backup. I think they were intending that for Mallinger, and Osborne, or I should say Giles, just happened to be in the right place at the right time to make the catch there. But if you're Viera, you'll take it any way you can get it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't too long ago you were standing up against your own goal, and now you've got a chance to tie things up going into the break.
29 seconds.
1st and goal from the 7. The Hawks still do have 2 timeouts remaining. Norton will go under center. Daniel Steen will serve as the fullback here for Johnson. Actually, I believe that's Mallinger who's going to be the deep back. Toss will go to him. Waiting for something to open up as he'll take the run. He'll get down to about the 5 and not much more as the clock's still moving. It's inside 20 seconds. And timeout called at 15. Nope, they had stopped the clock, and now it's going to be running again. It's inside 10 seconds. I don't know if the Hawks know it. Norton under center. It's at 5.
Oh, what is that?
Goes to Steen.
I don't understand.
He's short, and time will run out in the first half. And the Coco coaching staff telling their defense, hurry, get off the field before they can change their mind.
That to me, Jerry, I tell you, Coach Smith's going to want to know from his quarterback what happened there. How do you not spike the football? I think Coach Smith or Coach DeGore is going to want more time on the clock, but they're not going to get it. That's a miscue, a mistake somehow, some way. Of course, we'll talk to Coach Smith after the game, but man, to come all the way down here just before the half and not get points, remember that in the second half.
And we said that if it's not the defining moment in this game, it could loom large. And, well, as long as this game's close, a lot of the attention in this game is going to go back to that sequence right there. Viera did have 2 timeouts remaining, chose not to use them.
Yeah, that's just strange, and we'll find out after the game. We'd like to welcome in longtime Florida Today sports writing legend Barbara Kaywood.
One of the gods in Brevard County, not only in sports writing, but maybe the defining name in high school sports coverage, at least in my lifetime. And I say that with respect to the late Mike Cherry and, of course, Brian McCallum here as well.
Yeah.
But I grew up reading Barbara Kaywood covering high school football games as a kid. Maybe one of the most respected names in Brevard County sports.
All right, so we're going to step away and take a break and let you watch the bands and listen to the bands. Your halftime score here at Richard Dick Blake Stadium. The Coco Tigers 10, the Viera Hawks 3. We'll see you for the start of the second half coming up here in about 15 minutes.
I don't know.
Stand over there and move around.
Yeah, we know. Look out, Billy. We got to move around.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the 2019 Viera High School Marching Hawks. The Marching Hawks are conducted by drum majors Jordan Coates, Kendall Smallwood, Evan Luciano, color guard captains are Savannah Shoemake and Emily Steiner. Drum captains are Nick Hope and Jane Brosnan. Brass captain Chris Monk, band captain Becca Walker, our band captain Maxwell Reed. This evening, the Marching Hawks will perform selections from their 2019 pregame show. Please enjoy the NFL on Fox fanfare. And now for our medley of the music queen, We Will Rock You, and another one bites the dust. All right, Viera, go, Hawks, go! And we end tonight with the Viera High School fight song. And on behalf of the Marching Hawks, thank you and good night. Please welcome to the field the Coco High School Tiger Marching Band.
Now on the field, the Coco High School Tiger Regiment Marching Band. Tonight they will be performing St. Thomas from their show Castaway. Drum major, is your band ready? You may now begin your show.
Located at the north end of the stadium, you'll find the Quarterback Club tent. They have Coco football merchandise for sale, and a 50-50 raffle tickets are on sale. They also have tickets for the bus trip to the Freedom Bowl next week in Georgia. So visit the Quarterback Club tent at the north end of the stadium. of our Coco sponsors, 321 Sportscast, Edmund Nissan and Toyota, Dittmer Air and Heat for their continued support.
Kill me if I can't be here.
All right, welcome back here to Richard Dick Blake Stadium on the campus of Coco High School. Your halftime score, 10-3 as the teams get set to take the field. Let me get you some updates here from around the county. I can tell you that at the half, 14-7, well, it was actually 20, Holy Trinity 27-14 over Trinity Prep at the half. So we'd like to thank Quentin for helping us up with that. Satellite 50-0 at the half. O'Galley 7-0 over Astronaut. Merritt Island Christian was down 6-0 at the half. 22-7 PB versus Melbourne. I don't know which team is winning that game.
I believe Palm Bay's up 22-7 there.
Okay, gotcha. And that tells you right there, Jerry, what you can deduce from the Kickoff Classics and what you can't. Because Heritage beat Palm Bay 36-0. Everybody was down on Coach Bird and the Pirates and loved all over Melbourne. Not that there wasn't a lot to love about what they did last week, but this is week one.
And it's still one of those things that it's in the Palm Bay-Melbourne rivalry. We've seen Melbourne have great teams. We've seen years where Palm Bay hasn't been as quite as strong. And people kind of get lured to the idea of, hey, maybe this is the year Melbourne turns it over. You still need to see the Bulldogs do it. I believe 2007 was the last year that Melbourne beat Palm Bay. So this goes back almost as long as that Coco streak. And we're seeing it again. And that's not to say that Melbourne can't get there, and maybe Tony Rowell will eventually get into that place, but it's one of those things with Palm Bay. You don't bet against them until you see it happen. Yeah,
no doubt. So those are the scores that we have. Very excited here to get you set for second half kickoff as the Viera Hawks take the field. The Coco Tigers kicked off to start the game. The Hawks will do the same to start the second half. Very exciting. Good first half, 10-3. It's what I expected. I thought this would be more of a slobber knocker than it was a finesse game. Didn't get that timeout called down there, Jerry, at the end of the half. That could come back to haunt the Hawks. We'll see. But Coco, I think, did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, this could be a wide-open game for Coco. If they're able to go down the field and score here on the first drive of this second half, that might break the Hawks' confidence, where you certainly have to be going into the break thinking, hey, we've got a chance to tie this game and we'll get back on level footing. And then everything just kind of unraveled there in those last 30 seconds. And if Coco goes down the field and gets a touchdown, that might break.
Yeah, go ahead. What happened?
One short.
Oh, boy.
Oh!
That's all right. Don't worry about that. Just go live. Yeah.
I got it.
Go. All right, welcome back here. Apologize, lost the stream there. Welcome back here. 10-3 as Viera kicks off to start the second half. And here to tell you what the Tigers will do with a 10-3 lead, Jerry Durney.
Thank you, Alan Zlatarzinski. The Hawks actually went short on the kickoff and very nearly came up with it on the live ball. Instead, it's going to be 1st and 10 at about the 28 for Coco. 11:58 here in this third quarter. Man goes in motion, and it was Gaines. Arroyo looking to throw on first down. Got him in. Hit him right in the stomach and unable to come up with it. I believe that was... I think that was Adrian Manning. Waiting to see him come back. And yes, that was Adrian Manning. He was going to ground as he was trying to make the catch, but it still would have had them out near midfield.
Once again, those halftime scores. Satellite was up 50-0. O'Galley 7-0 over Astronaut at the half. As DJ Arroyo back in the shotgun, nobody in the backfield. Here's Jerry.
Yeah, they're going to go with a 5-wide set here for Coco. They're going to try to break this game open here early in the second half. Hit at the line, and do we have a pick? No. I think O.J. Ross ended up coming away with the ball anyway on the deflection, but that's a big boost for Viera. It's going to be a huge loss of yardage, and I think for Viera, that might have been Austin Smith in the middle there. No, number 45. That was Cooper Davis. Big Cooper Davis got a paw on it, knocked it into the sky. Viera very nearly get the turnover. They don't, but it's going to set up a 3rd and 15 for the Tigers, and they're going to have to go long.
Not how Ryan Schneider wanted to start half number 2 here.
He did not. It's going to be 5 wide again for the Tigers. Arroyo takes the snap. Pressure coming, gets rid of it quickly. And it looks like that's to Holmes. It won't be for much. Jalen Housey's the one who makes the play, and the Tigers go 3 and out, and that's a win for Derek Smith's staff.
Great catch, nonetheless, the one-handed grab by Holmes. But look, the Viera Hawks are going to start off the second half here with great field position. Look, they have an opportunity to make up for that end of the first half gap where they weren't able to stop the clock for whatever reason, Jerry, and we'll find out what that reason was. But Coco set the punt on 4th and about 11 here.
See the punting duties this week go to Chavis Thompson. He'll be punting from his 15. And they roll the snap. This could be trouble.
Uh-oh.
And this one's not going to clear midfield. They didn't get a whole lot on this one. It's going to take a roll, and Bollinger's going to pick it up. And the ball comes out, but they'd already ruled the play dead. It was very close. That was a dangerous play by Mallinger. But Viera's going to get the ball in Tiger territory to start. And boy, did the Hawks' fortunes may have just changed with that. It was a rolled snap back to Chavis Thompson. The Hawks very nearly got the block, so Thompson didn't get the cleanest of kicks on that one. And Viera have 1st and 10 at the Coco 49 with 10:13 to go.
This is exactly what the football doctor ordered here for Viera. Again, and I don't mean to harp on that mistake at the end of the first half, Jerry, but that could turn out to be huge.
Viera hoping to wipe it out in one fell swoop here as we start this third quarter. 10:13 to play. Norton takes the snap. They fake the handoff to Johnson. Tries to get away from one. They're going to lose yardage. And not fooled in the slightest was Keyshawn Summers.
I tell you, that is just great execution. And again, I'll reiterate on watching film, Jerry, that's a play that Bryce Norton beat them on constantly last year. Remember, he had over 100 yards rushing in that game against Coco last year. That's not been the case so far in this one.
Keyshawn Summers part of that defense last year, and That's probably been in his brain ever since. He was not going to get beat by that tonight. Man goes in motion on 2nd and 12. It's going to be the jet sweep here, and they're going to lose even more yardage. And that Coco defense starting to come to life. They went to Housey on the play. Marquise Freeman was ready for it. A huge loss for the Hawks, and they're going to be looking at 3rd and almost 20.
Both these teams combined to start the second half, Jerry. How about negative 11 yards?
My goodness. We'll put that ball at the 43, so it's going to be a loss of 6. So that's going to be 3rd and 18. They need to get to the Coco 39. I said, I think last week that we were either going to get another 49-42 game or we were going to get 13-10. We're a lot closer to that right now. Norton looks over the middle. He's got a man, and it's going to be complete. They've got the first down and more all the way ahead to the 37-yard line, and it's T.J. Johnson right down the middle unchecked.
Great route by Johnson across the middle. Coco went back in a zone that time, Jerry. Johnson cut across the middle, found the open spot. Norton had his eyes on him the whole time. Big pickup for the Hawks.
They'll get the first down and then some. And they'll bring the ball ahead to the 36. So that's a gain of 21 on 3rd and 18. So 3 receivers on the near side left and 2 on the right. They'll go with an empty backfield here. Mallinger, the lone or the farthest out receiver, and then we've got a dead. Well, no penalty. It's going to be a timeout taken by the Coco defense at the 8:48 mark here in the 3rd quarter. You don't see that a lot. So timeout taken as Viera trying to get back on level terms in this game, Alan.
Yeah, 8:48 to go here in the 3rd quarter. I'd like to tell everyone that these broadcasts aren't possible without some of our great sponsors. Sunset View Windows and Doors, Viera Pizza, Duncan, Gentle Dental Associates, Can-Am Roofing, Farm Bureau Insurance, Carlson's Trophy Shop, Parisi Speed School at Excel and Fitness Performance, Tailor-Made Therapies, The Geiger Team, and Treasure Coast Sotheby's International Realty, 321 Roofing, S&T Cleaning. As the Hawks come back onto the field to try and convert here, well, they've converted. It's first down, and here to tell you what they do with a fresh set of downs, my partner, Jerry Durney.
Thank you very much, Alan. It's 1st and 10 for Viera at the Coco 36. T.J. Johnson will be the man in motion. They run the sweep. It's going to go to Johnson, and he's got plenty of daylight down the sideline. And if he didn't pick up the first, it's going to be 2nd and very short. They've ran the jet sweep with varying degrees of success tonight. Sometimes Coco's been ready for it, and sometimes Viera's been able to get downfield with it. Let's see, they're going to give him the first, so it's a gain of 10 out to the 26-yard line, and Viera all of a sudden in business.
And T.J. Johnson all of a sudden becoming, once again, as he was in the Kickoff Classic, Jerry, a vital part of this Hawks offense.
They have him in the backfield here on 1st and 10 from the 26. Norton's going to keep it. He actually is going to lose yardage. That was Keontae Curry who came up with the tackle in the backfield.
Nothing at all there for Norton tonight in the running game, Jerry. Very impressive defensive game plan for the Coco Tigers tonight. You got to like what they came out with, what they saw on film. They've obviously made the adjustments, and that's a lot of credit to defensive coordinator Marcus Wilder.
Yeah, for Viera, they've either had plenty of success running the ball or none at all. They're either getting those 10-yarders or they're getting nothing. It's going to be a loss of 1. And I think we might have hit the hydration break here. We have. With 7:58 to go in this 3rd quarter, Coco's still in front, 10-3.
Now, I told you about some of those great sponsors. Let me tell you a little bit more about them in depth. Sunset View Windows and Doors, a veteran and family-owned and operated business, and is Brevard's premier window and door company. They can be reached at 321-257-4422. Once again, Viera Pizza, Mike Acosta. I got to tell you, the Eat My Crust 5K run and all of the pizza charities that he is involved with and does for this community. Order yours tonight, 321-636-7696. And here is Jerry Durney.
Thank you, Alan. Johnson in the backfield as Norton fakes the handoff. Rolls to his right, throws, it's going to be complete. And it's Mallinger right at the sticks on 2nd and 11.
You know, we wondered who it was going to be taking over for Shamar Moore and Sean Atkins. obviously Davis Mallinger, one of those names Bryce Norton's going to need to rely on this year to fill those roles.
Looks like he got 9 on the play going over the middle. It'll set up 3rd and 2 at the 17-yard line. So the Hawks are into the red zone, so this looks like field goal territory. Ferrer's already hit from 42, but the Hawks won 7. Norton out of the gun, and they fake it to Johnson. He's going to keep it himself. He's got the first down and more over the 15, down to about the 13, and on 3rd and 1, they get 4.
Inside of the Can-Am Roofing red zone.
Hawks have already moved in there, and now they've got the first. 7:10 and counting here in the third. This is a 3-minute drive, and this will be the 8th play of the drive. 2 receivers left and right with Johnson in the backfield. They fake the handoff. Norton's going to throw it as he's hit. It's complete to Mallinger. Spins away from 1. Looks like he's inside the 10-yard line, and he's going to be brought down by Jaquez Hicks.
Score update for you thanks to PK Cannon, who's manning the field for us tonight. Palm Bay and Melbourne. Palm Bay scores again to take a 29-7 lead over the Bulldogs.
That's step 2 for Dwayne Bird in his tenure as Palm Bay head coach, and we'll see if they can keep that ball rolling next week. It looks like they've found their footing. It is 1st and goal from the 7. Or I should say it's a 2nd and 5 from the 7. And this is going to go to the outside here. And that's Mallinger on the sweep.
Davis Mallinger brought down by number 12.
And it might have gotten 3 there.
That was a lot of speed right there, and you saw him. I mean, he just had a head of steam there. Arguably, maybe a cut there gets him into the end zone.
Score update. I want to thank Candy Terry for this one. MCC tonight playing Calvary Christian, and they trail 35-14.
Timeout for water.
As an official timeout taken here at the 6:09 mark of the 3rd quarter. Viera will have 1st and goal at the 3 with a chance to tie it, and they'll be hoping for better results this time down by the goal line than they did at the end of the first half.
New head coach there at Viera, Walt Ramsey, taking the reins over. Was there last year, I think. Was he there last year?
He was the offensive line coach.
Yeah, offensive line coach last year, takes over for Coach Sizemore. You know, I thought it was an interesting article by Brian McCallum today in the Florida Today, talking about the amount of coaching changes in Brevard County. When you look across the threshold of coaches in this county, the longest tenured head football coach is Mark Ainsley at Heritage at 6 years, Jerry.
Wow. And that Mark Ainsley took over the last year that I was covering high school ball.
Yeah.
You told me back then that Jeff McLean would be gone, Randy Halleck gone, Dan Burke, John Wilkinson. You know, a lot of big names in this county all would be gone by the end of the decade. I just would not have believed it.
Inside the Can-Am Roofing red zone from the I formation here, Jerry.
It's 1st and goal from the 3. Coco has their goal line defense. It's going to go to Mallinger off tackle. And did he cross? He did. He's into the end zone. And Viera go with a little something different.
Mallinger just buries his head and rumbles through his offensive and the defensive line of the Coco Tigers. They'll lean into the end zone for the touchdown to get this to within a 1-point game. And you always want to say, you know, to tie the game, but the extra points last year were an issue for the Viera Hawks, so we'll see if they can convert here.
On to kick. It'll be Aiden Ferrer, and his extra point is up and good. And with 5:52 to go in the 3rd quarter, we are tied at 10.
Big drive there for the Coco Tigers, Jerry. Boy, do they need that one after the way the first half ended for them. Impressive on the drive was T.J. Johnson, as he had a couple of big plays for them. You know, again, you got to give that Tiger defense credit for shutting down Bryce Norton, but you have to account for T.J. Johnson, and they didn't do it on that drive.
And Davis Mallinger making himself already here in the early parts of this season into a valuable part of the offense. For the Hawks on that drive, it was 10 plays, 49 yards, which was set up by that deflected kick. I don't know if Viera got a block, but the bounce snap on the punt for Coco didn't help. And then on that 3rd and long, after they had 2 negative plays to start the drive, they had a 3rd and 21. And then another long run after that, and that brought them in. I believe there were 2 third-down conversions on that drive for Viera. So they go 49 yards in 10 plays, and it takes 4 minutes and 21 seconds off the clock. We've got a brand new game at 10. So Aiden Ferrer set to kick off. 2 men back deep for Coco. And it looks like Manning and Ross.
Once again, thanks to Gavin Keith producing this broadcast tonight.
Ferrer will send this. They're going to go short. I think they were trying to catch Coco slipping. It was almost like Aiden Ferrer was trying to attempt the Rabana there on the kickoff, but it didn't come off. And Coco were going to have tremendous field position to start with 5:52 to go in the third.
You know, I almost got to say, look, you know, I understand they got past that end of the first half thing. Questionable decision there. And I love Derek Smith. I do. But I think there you kick it deep. Your defense has held the Tigers to 10 points. I love the element of surprise. Don't get me wrong. But I think there, Jerry, I'm booting that thing deep.
And I think they were just trying to catch the Tigers flat-footed, but credit to Ryan Schneider, had his team prepared. 1st and 10 from the Coco 48. Handoff goes to Keziah Holmes, and I think he might have got back to the original line of scrimmage, and not much else as Zach Taylor makes the tackle.
Because the one thing the Tigers can do here, without a doubt, they can flip the field. I mean, they've done it already.
Even if they go 3 and out here.
Right.
They'll say he got back to the line. No, they'll say it was a gain of 1. Even still, it'll set up 2nd and 9 for the Tigers as we come up on 5.5 minutes to play in this third quarter. 2 receivers on the near side right, 1 on the far side left with Arroyo out of the gun. Takes the snap, pressure coming, ball's hit, but there's nobody there. And there's another play that might have changed this game. It was Cooper Davis getting the hand with pressure coming, and that led to the big loss for Coco, and that flipped the field. But instead there, it just falls harmlessly to the turf, and it'll set up 3rd and 9. And if you're Viera, I know Keziah Holmes is back there. Do you still send the house?
Well, I think here, if I'm the Viera Hawks, what I'm looking at, or if I'm Coco, I'm looking for something across the middle, a quick slant here. That's their bread and butter play. Who it goes to, I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for if I'm Viera.
They're going to need to get to the Viera 41. Arroyo takes the snap. Got time, and he just overshot his target. It was a little too high for Jamari Robinson. Not much he could have done there. And Coco have gone 3 and out on both drives in this second half.
All right, so that's going to bring up 4th down for the Tigers. And I tell you, Jerry, what a great stand there to pick up your special teams by that Coco defense.
And Melbourne has just scored. They now trail Palm Bay 29-14. It is Chavis Thompson who is handling the punting duties for the Tigers tonight. They had a bounce snap the last time. And this one's not great either. The Hawks are going to get the block. I think they did. It's still spinning near the 40, and they'll down it on their own 41. Good field position again. It was Zach Sedaros who got a hand on it. It was a better snap than the last one, but that's relative. It still bounced at the last second as it got to Thompson. That gave Sedaros a clean look, and Viera is going to get prime field position again.
I'd like to welcome in Chris Gallagher watching, former Viera Hawks athletic director. Welcome in, Chris. Hope things are going well for you and your new gig and transition. Did a lot for that Viera Hawk program.
Absolutely. They'll mark it at the 41 of the Hawks.
Leanne Keith is also watching. I'd like to say hello to Miss Keith.
And do we have a flag or do we have a timeout? I think we might have a flag. Clock stopped with 5:02 remaining, so that drive lasted exactly 50 seconds for Coco. And that can't be of use. It's a sideline warning on Coco. But much like what happened to the Viera defense in the second quarter, you just had that drive of over 4 minutes. Now you got a tie game, and if you're that Coco defense and you're trying to make adjustments, you're going right back out there. So that won't change the yardage. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Viera at their own 41. Again, trying to become the first Brevard County team to win at Dick Blake Stadium in almost 13 years. Norton will throw for The night that Davis Mallinger's had, he's going to be thinking about that one. He had real estate, and I think that might have been what happened there.
Yeah.
He was already figuring where he was going to go without actually having it.
That's the old off the fingertips before you are trying to run with the ball before you had it.
Usually you like to get a running start on that one, and then you can claim injury. But Mallinger was standing up, so there's not a whole lot he can do there. He's just going to have to wear that one, and it's not going to be fun for him in film tomorrow. I can guarantee you that. There'll be a lot of, well, what happened?
The stands are rocking on the Coco side.
These Coco fans trying to get the energy back up as it goes to Johnson. He breaks through. He might have something, and he drags a defender with him into Coco territory and all the way to the Hawk 43.
TJ Johnson once again making a big difference here in this Viera Hawk offense. And Jerry, I got to ask the question because I think it begs to be asked. Is the conditioning I thought the better conditioned team would be the one that wins this. That offensive line, the front, interior, who's winning that battle now?
And I think in both cases, and we'll mention here after this play here, is Norton's got some time and he's going to have to run out of bounds. There's a Tiger down back in the middle of the field. I think in the case for both teams, they both had a walk last week.
Yeah.
You know, Bayside competed and gave Coco a game, but 37-7 is still 37-7. Coco had the better of the play to be sure, and it looks like the Coco player that was down was Marquise Freeman, so he's going to have to come out for at least the next play. And Viera had no trouble with Liberty. And so I think that kind of messes with your rhythm where, you know, if you can just kind of dictate how that game's going to go in every facet, and those scores certainly say that they did that, you know, it's different than being in it right away.
Yeah.
And you really don't take anything away from a close preseason game, but at least it gives you that simulation of being in it. And now they're going to face it for the first time here tonight. 1st and 10 from the 43. We're calling a 2nd and 9 as that's a long throw downfield. That might be a flag. That might be a late flag there on Zaquan Reeves.
I think
the Viera stands are hot.
Well, I think that's a good no call, first of all, because the ball wasn't catchable. It was way out of bounds. The only thing I think that you would have there, maybe some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct or, you know.
He got thrown at the end of that play,
yeah.
No doubt about it. So that'll set up 3rd and 10 for Viera. They're kind of in no man's land here. If they don't gain, I should say 3rd and 8. If they don't gain anything here, you're out of field goal range, but you don't want to punt. You're in your opponent's territory unless you believe you can flip the field. 2 receivers left and right, and they're kind of bunched in closer to the line rather than out wide. Norton looking, got time. Now the pressure's coming. He's going to roll out to his right, throws towards the sticks, and I don't think Mallinger was able to hang on to that one. And it's a decision time for Derek Smith.
Have not been impressed with either punting unit tonight, Jerry. So, you know, look, you're on this side of the 50. Your defense has been spectacular tonight. Do you take a chance and go for it, or do you punt it here?
If you have faith in your punting game, I'd say kick it and hope that you get a good one, get it down inside the 10 and try to flip the field. I almost wonder if this is like the area that you run a fake.
You know, Miss Rosalind Josie has corrected us. She's right. Rockledge did indeed win here. That's right. That's right. They've won 2 years in a row.
4th and 9 here as Ferrer will send this away. And a spiraling kick as that is going to be bounced down by the 15.
Oh,
this
wow.
might stay in, and well done by the Gunners.
Wow.
And the first man down there for Viera was Donovan Giles, and I believe that's down by the 2, and you can't ask for much more than that.
Makes me look like a fool for even suggesting you go for it. But what a great punt. And as you suggested, Gary or Jerry, and said, the gunner got down there, kept that ball from getting into the end zone. That's a play that won't be touted in the highlights, but that could be a pivotal point in this game.
Yeah, and either maybe you force a turnover here, or if you get another 3 and out, with the way Coco's punting game's been going, you might get prime field position once again.
I'd like to welcome in Alex Goins, Mark Christian, Karen Gonzalez. Welcome in, everyone. Rosalind Josie, who got the stat right about Rockledge.
Very fair point.
Scott Shannonville. Uncle Scott.
In a couple weeks, throw's going to be complete. And it's going to get them out of the shadow of the goal, out to about the 10-yard line. And Jamari Robinson has his first reception of the night. That's going to bring it out all the way to, call it the 11-yard line, so a gain of 9, and much needed if you're Coco. At least you have some room to work with now. And that'll set up second, call it 1.5. Actually a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 10. Royal takes the snap. It's going to be Holmes. He's got the first down and more. Out ahead to the 15-yard line. As this Coco crowd looking for any reason to get back into this game. I think they've all been kind of been stunned into silence after what happened earlier in this quarter. We're inside 4 minutes. That'll be a gain of 5, by the way, for Holmes. Royal looking. And he's got Robinson. He beat his man, but he was a little too long.
Needed just a little more touch under that one.
Well, Cato Holmes has got to be wiping his helmet going, whew, thank goodness.
Yeah,
Robinson had him beat.
Yeah, he was behind everybody there. Now, he had a defender coming across the field, but nonetheless, that would have definitely bailed out that Coco offense. 10-10's your score here. 3:36 to play in the third quarter.
Might be in for another close one. We've had plenty of those matchups in the last 5 years between these two teams. Arroyo takes the snap, pressure coming. It's Robinson, and it went right through his hands. He was turning around to make that catch, but still it was there. Coverage being applied there by DeAndre Lewis. That'll set up 3rd and 10 for Coco. And it stops the clock at 3:31.
A couple of years ago, Jerry, right here on this field, we had double overtime. A game Viera should have won in regulation, but Bruce Judson led a remarkable drive.
Bruce Judson, one of maybe the greatest quarterbacks that this high school's ever known. Right up there with Wayne Younger and DJ Arroyo trying to enter his name into those books. Bruce Judson, of course, now at Tusculum University up in Tennessee. He starts his career in a couple of weeks. Throws over the middle, and it was off the hands of O.J. Ross. Pressure coming from Viera. I'll tell you what now, and we haven't heard a lot from O.J. Ross tonight. He was a vital part of the offense last week.
You know, I hate to say this because I almost feel like I'm going to jinx one of these two teams, but we are really getting to a point in this game with 3:25 to play in the third quarter where neither of these two teams has turned the football over yet, Jerry. Lots of credit to both of these offenses, but I got a feeling that first turnover could be the difference maker.
Yeah, the only one, and it might be the biggest, is Chavis Thompson hoping for some better luck with the snaps. That's been the issue. It's not that Thompson's necessarily had bad kicks. He just hasn't had time. And that's what's allowed Viera to kind of flip the momentum of this game. You're seeing the Hawks right now, they're going with a short man and a deep man. Mallinger is the short man. Jeremiah Housey is the deep man. Thompson is standing right on the goal line.
Here they come.
Clean snap. And the pressure coming, and it's going to be a roughing the punter penalty as that ball bounces at the 30. Coco will down this, but it was 4th and 10. Now it's going to be, if it's a running into the kicker, it's a 5-yarder, and it's still 4th down.
Personal foul.
If it's roughing the punter, that's an automatic first.
And it is roughing.
It's roughing, so that's going to be an automatic first for Coco. Boy, and that has to drive you crazy if you're the Viera staff. You know, coaches say you don't mind penalties of aggression, but you have to be smart in the situation here. You're getting a punt from your own goal line. You let that go. And that might change the scope of everything. If you were saying that we haven't had a turnover yet, that might be just as good as one.
What is it that Steve Englehart tells you, the head coach of the Florida Tech Panthers?
You say you live with penalties of aggression, but you don't want those dead ball penalties. But boy, oh boy, that might change everything. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 30. For Coco instead, and a handoff, it's going to go to Gaines, and he's going to be immediately met by Daniel Steen.
The one thing that was Coco's undoing in that state championship game last year was at this point in the third quarter, they began to turn the football over. But I tell you what, Jerry, I really like the way this team seems to have caught a second breath of air here. They get that break. We'll see what happens.
No gain on the carry there by Holmes. And we have a time clock stoppage? No, the clock's still running. Charlie Sitton got in there to make sure that Coco did not snap the football. Lined up in the slot is Lakota Wojciechowski. He had a great game last week. Haven't heard much from him tonight. Haven't seen too many targets. And I believe Derek Smith is going to call timeout. So both teams have used a timeout here in the third quarter. And we'll take one here with 2:27 to go in the third quarter here on 321 Sportscast. Coco 10, Viera 10.
Yeah, Jerry, thank you. We're going to just let everybody know about some of our great sponsors, and we'll start bottom up this time. S&T Cleaning, your sparkle team that gives you a full top-to-bottom cleaning with an eye for detail, licensed and insured. They service all of Brevard, both residential and commercial. Call the Sparkle team at 321-208-3018. How about the Geiger team at Treasure Coast Sotheby's International Realty, artfully uniting extraordinary homes with extraordinary lives along the Space Coast of Florida. And tailor-made therapies. Angie Taylor and her staff, passionate about providing speech, occupational, and physical therapy to Central Brevard in Melbourne. Back to my partner, Jerry Durney.
Thank you, Alan. 2nd and 9 from their own 31 for Coco. 2:27 here in the third quarter as Arroyo takes the snap. Pressure coming over the middle. And it's going to be complete. It's O.J. Ross still on his feet. Got the first down and more. He's going to get ahead to the 45-yard line before he's eventually tackled by Cato Holmes. Also in there on the play was Eric Diaz. So a gain of 14 to Ross.
I tell you, that's the thing about O.J. Ross. Just a sophomore, Jerry, and I got to tell you, he is not afraid to get in there and stick his head down and run over people.
Haven't heard a lot from him and Wojciechowski tonight. Both were pretty active participants last week. Both been largely held in check in this one. 1st and 10 for Coco at their own 45. Arroyo hands off. It's going to be Keziah Holmes out to about the 49. I stand corrected. That is Amarian Gaines.
It's tough to read these backs' numbers. 6, 8. I'm going to have to tell somebody to put a double digit on.
Or even get like a 3. That'd be all right. Adrian Manning, you can switch to 13. We're good. So it'll be 2nd and 6, just about at midfield. 4 down lineman for Viera. Pass is going to be complete here to Dante Cook. He's got the first down still on his feet before he's eventually wrapped up by Sederos at about the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 8.
Now, I got to tell you, Jerry, that what a great play there by Cook. I mean, to fight for those extra yards and get that first down, that's what wins football games.
Viera has to feel deflated knowing they could have been off the field. Handoff, it's going to be to Gaines on the right side at the 40, and he's led out of bounds. Coco on a horse collar. It's going to be very close. Tackle was made by Jalen Housey, and that was Holmes. He's the back at the moment. 10-10. Fourth quarter, by the way, Warner Christian leading Merritt Island Christian 12-0. O'Galley a 13-0 lead on Astronaut. Handoff goes to the ball's on the ground, and Arroyo's going to get there, but that's going to be a considerable loss of yardage, and it'll be about 10 yards. They had a 2nd and 4 at the 37. And instead,
fumbled, he recovers.
Drive killer.
That's going to be a 3rd and about 12.
Coach Nate Hooks has got his Holy Trinity Tigers up 34-21 against Trinity Prep at the half. Thanks to Quentin Jones Butler for that update.
3rd and 13 officially for Coco at the Viera 46. Looks like the Hawks are about to send the house here. This drive's been over 3 minutes. The receivers left and right with Holmes in the backfield. Arroyo steps up, looking over the middle, and it is complete. And making the catch was Adrian Manning.
That is as good as of a ball you'll see from a quarterback at this level to his wide receiver. Wide receiver laid down. Arroyo placed it perfectly. That was good coverage, Jerry.
Yeah,
Arroyo found the spot.
Broke into the seam, and he beat Cato Holmes on the coverage. It's a gain of 18. Throw here on first down. It's going to be Cook. That's away from 1 at the 20, the 15. And he's going to be brought down at about the 13-yard line. as that will end the third quarter.
I'd like to welcome in my buddy Michael Coe. Michael, I've been wondering where you been all this time. Welcome to 321 Sportscast, Mr. Coe. Glad to have you here. As we get to the end of the third quarter, your score, 10-10. We're headed, Jerry, for one of those dogfight fourth quarters. How do you see this one stacking up?
I tell you what, Alan, I think we both thought that no matter what the score was going to be, it was going to be a 60-minute, or not a 60, this one's going to be a 36-minute contest. You knew neither one of these teams was going to run away with it. And here we are. We got 12 minutes to decide this. And if you, like we said earlier, if you're Derek Smith and his staff, you settle for 3 here. But maybe the big play in this game, it's the roughing the punter penalty on a play where Viera were going to get the ball at about the 30 when that play ended.
Yeah.
On a play where Coco were punting from the goal line.
Yep. The other thing is the timeout before the half. If you can get anything out of that, you certainly were within field goal range. You don't call the timeout before the half. No points put on the board. Yeah, as you alluded to, they had 2 of them.
They did. This, by the way, will be the 15th play of the drive coming up, and that includes the punt with the penalty. Coco took over with 4:01 left in the third quarter. They had the ball on their own 2-yard line. They had 2 quick plays that got them out of it, and then there was an incompletion, which led to the 4th down. And at that point, Chavis Thompson was punting from his goal line. They bounced the snap back to him, but it was a roughing the punter penalty that was an automatic first, and now Coco will start the 4th quarter on the Hawk 15-yard line. 1st and 10. Going to be taken here, and it's a direct snap to Holmes. And it looked like he was brought down on the end of that play by Jalen Housey. Might have gained a yard.
I like the way Housey plays. You know, when I had him in studio, and I apologize if I can't remember which Housey told me this, but I said, how do you play defense? He said, when you come around that corner, I just want to take your head off.
I don't feel like tackling that guy. Arroyo back under center here for 2nd down. Throw is going to be complete inside the 5. And the tackle by Cedero saves the touchdown for Manning.
Yep. Inside now, the 3-2-1 roofing red zone.
We're going to spot the ball on the 3. So that was a gain of 11. This will be the 17th play of the drive. Day White is in. Coming in the late is Dante Cook. It's 1st and goal from about the 3 as we're in the 1st minute of the 4th quarter. Arroyo taking the snap. And
wow.
He's going to run left, and he's got to beat one man to the corner.
The referee.
Did he get there? We don't see a signal yet because the official over there by the goal line got taken out. I don't see a signal. There has not been a signal from the official on the near sideline. DJ Arroyo saying I got across, but
I think he hit the pylon myself. Watching
same here.
Yeah, I think he hit the pylon. But they're going to down it at the 1, Jerry.
So a gain of 2 for Arroyo. This is the 18th play of the drive. And now Arroyo's going to go under center, and I think he might just take it himself. He will. He's in. There's the signal, and the Tigers have taken the lead. A drive that took over 5 minutes and goes 98 yards with the benefit of one very big penalty. With 10:52 to play in this game, it's Coco 16, Viera 10.
Yeah, that's as big of a drive as you're ever going to see at any level of football. 98 yards. They capitalize on the roughing the punter, and now will await the extra point, which can be an adventure at this level, but both of these kickers have proven to be phenomenal here tonight.
And Nick King, so far, he's hit all his marks, and he'll try to add on to it here. Snap hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. A 18-play, 98-yard drive that officially took 5 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. 10:52 is left in this game. It's Coco 17, Viera 10.
I'd just like to ask everybody here that thank you, first of all, for logging on and watching here tonight on 321 Sportscast. I'm Alan Slaughterzinski, my play-by-play gentleman. My partner here tonight is Jerry Durney. I'd also like to thank, my God, what a great job by Gavin Keith, Viera High School senior Gavin Keith. Caleb Brown, as well, has done an outstanding job here tonight. Mark Karstens, the athletic director, has been instrumental in allowing us here tonight to be able to bring this broadcast for you. But if you all would, for us, please take just a quick second to hit like the page. It's how we measure our success. It's how we measure, our sponsors measure our success. So please, if you would just take a minute to like the page, we would really appreciate it. And I see some of my old friends from where I used to be checking us out here on 321 Sportscast. Guys like Mr. Coe and Mr. David, he knows I never could say his last name.
Oh, that line of work.
Yeah, right. Well, I always say Muchow is how it's spelled. So, you know, there's a couple ways to go. How would you say it, Jerry?
Fair point. fair point. Space Coast has taken a 7-0 lead over Fort Pierce Central down at Lawnwood Stadium.
Wow.
Heading towards the fourth quarter. Matt Diesel, second-generation head coach here in Brevard County, as Nick King sets to kick off. And Viera going with 3 men deep. Let's see what happens on this kickoff. We've had a few interesting looks tonight, and it's going to be Mallinger again from about the 12-yard line, over the 25 and about the 27. So we'll say Viera's got about 70 plus yards to go to tie this game back up with 10:47 remaining. Both teams used a timeout in the third quarter, so they've got 2 left.
Well, I tell you, this is a pivotal drive for Viera. I mean, that's the obvious statement, right? But as we get deeper into this game, game 1, heat and humidity, again, the conditioning comes into play.
Especially with what you're going up against, and it's those 4 down the linemen for the Tigers as Norton fakes the handoff. He'll run to the left. He'll get over the 30 and not much more. It might have actually gotten to the 32, which would set up a manageable 2nd and 5. Bryce Norton not afraid to run with the football, and when you have someone like TJ Johnson in your backfield, that's going to make things a little bit easier. And they have to account for that as well. They'll call it 2nd and 6. Norton takes the snap, looks, he's got time, going over the middle, and it's knocked away. Great coverage applied there for the Tigers by Cedric Hawkins. They were looking for TJ Johnson.
Yeah, that's just a great play. That's a freshman, 5'11", 165 pounds, gets his hand up. Great technique, good speed, good play.
And all of a sudden, just like that, it's 3rd and 6. Palm Bay have extended their lead. It is now 35-14 in the fourth quarter for the Pirates as Norton takes the snap. Johnson out in the flat. They're going to throw, and it's incomplete. And they were looking for Jalen Housey. Instead, the Hawks will have to punt, and you wonder if this is where the Hawks start to break. But, as we saw in that last drive, nothing a guarantee with punts. So, plenty could happen here. 10:02 to play. I mentioned the Tigers next week will travel to Milton, Georgia to play Hoover High School out of Alabama. Viera next week. Check their schedule. Ferrer set to punt.
Centennial.
They will take Port St. Lucie Centennial, who fell to Astronaut last week. Ferrer sends this away, and it's a good one. It's going to be back to the 35, fielded by Cook, over the 40. And a couple of pretty big shots there at the end of the play. And it'll be down at the 42, and that's where the Tigers will take over with 9:54 to play.
Make sure you join us tomorrow right here on 321 Sportscast, starting live at 2 o'clock as we bring you Viera, Suntree, Pop Warner against Merritt Island. Pop Warner will have the 12U and the 14U games broadcast live here tomorrow on 321 Sportscast. Graham McGowan and myself will be on the call. looking forward to that. Our future Hawks and maybe Tigers in there.
Might be. We've certainly seen the factory that Merritt Island youth football has been able to produce for the high school. And on first down and 10, boy, and it's Gaines getting away from one over the 45, over the 50. He's got one man to beat. Gets away from another. Cuts away from two. Are you kidding me? Hurdles another, and all the way down to the 6-yard line on the play. What a run!
Make sure we got the number right. Who is it?
Well, this might be coming back, though.
Oh.
Yep, they're calling everybody back. We haven't seen the flag, but Charlie Sitton, the head referee, he's waving everybody back. And that was Keziah Holmes.
Yeah.
Who just had a highlight reel play.
I tell you, if you're a Nittany Lion fan, that is exactly what you cannot wait to watch next year.
Well, you know what? They're going to say that he stepped out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So that's a gain of 20 on first down by Holmes. Arroyo hands off again, and I believe they went to Gaines here.
Careful.
And driven back. And with quite a bit of force at the end of that play. We're going to see who comes out of the pile there for Viera, and it was number 99, Jamari Lyons.
Well, I'm still in awe on that run from Keziah Holmes. The two cutbacks were just magnificent. Well, I tell you, James Franklin can't wait to get him to Happy Valley.
Oh, yeah. He's got to love what he's seeing on film every single week. Gain of 4 there. And if you're the Tigers, you're looking for what would be not quite a kill shot, but it would really put the seal on this game as Arroyo fakes the handoff over the 30.
Oh, no, that's got to be 15 more, Jerry.
Yeah,
there it is.
That came late at the end of the run. Yeah, it was DeAndre Lewis who threw Arroyo late into the sideline and actually might have taken a couple of the volunteers out there. So that's going to be a run of about 6 plus the personal foul at the end of that. So Coco are probably going to be in the red zone by the time they respot this. And we need to see the official total now. The numbers have gone down in the second half. We haven't seen nearly as many penalties, but I imagine the Hawks have to be in the double digits for the night. It's a first down for Coco with 8:54 to go. And time starting to run out.
Yeah, I would think any type of a score here, even a field goal, is just detrimental to Viera's opportunity. Now, look, with Bryce Norton back there at quarterback, they are a big play offense, but that Coco defense, and especially that Coco secondary tonight, they've contained Davis Mallinger in this second half. We'll see.
It's going to be 1st and 10 from the Hawk 15. Arroyo takes the high snap, fakes the handoff. Runs middle, now he'll cut back to the left, and he's going to lose yardage, actually. Let's see who made the tackle there, and it was Cato Holmes, the corner. And I think the high snap might have thrown everything off. Might have had something up the gut there, but everything changes on the snap as Keziah Holmes will come off, it looks like, for O.J. Ross, and they'll go 5 wide. It was a loss of 4 on the play. 8:15 and counting. Coco leads 17-10. 4 down linemen for the Hawks with the 3 backers. Arroyo getting away from 1, and he'll throw across, and I believe that's Gaines. So he'll get back to about the 12-yard line, so they'll get a gain of 7 on the play.
Number 8, Keziah Holmes. Brought down by number 3, Jalen Housey.
There was Housey who made the tackle on Holmes. That'll set up 3rd, and look like he got to the 12-yard line. So that's going to be 3rd and about 6.
How about this? Congratulations to Paul Kaluma as Titusville gets a 40-6 win.
And that's got to feel very good for the 2005 Titusville grad to be able to come back. And now you've got at least that on your resume. They can't take that from you. 3rd and 6, going for the end zone and just overshot him. I think over on the far side, I think they were looking for Adrian Manning. No, that was not Manning. That
pass incomplete to number 3, Adrian
No, it was. It was Manning. And Nick King will come on to attempt the field goal.
Wow, I tell you, you can feel the tension. Look, the Viera packed. I mean, there's not a seat over there in that crowd. Here, of course, over on this side, you know it's sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable, intense atmosphere as they get set to try to tack on 3 here, Jerry, to double up the Hawks.
The spot here looks like it's about the 17-yard line, so the field goal for King from 34 yards out, it's good. That's a 27-yard field goal, I should say, for Nick King. We're trying to calculate on the fly. King's field goal is good, and it gives the Tigers a double-digit lead. 7:08 left in this ball game. It's Coco 20, Viera 10.
Still plenty of time for the Hawks. And boy, I tell you, Jerry, these are two. I mean, look, Alex Petrozello did a wonderful job for the Coco Tigers over the last 5 years. But look, they certainly aren't missing a beat here with this kid kicking the ball.
Oh, and you'll like what you've seen out of the junior, so you know you have this for at least the next 2 years. And maybe the bigger thing, Alan, is these kicks have been true. You know,
yeah.
You see high school kickers where it's barely clearing the bar or it leaves his foot and you don't know where it's going. Most of King's kicks have at least looked on point.
Yeah, that one would have been good from about 40.
For the Tigers on that drive. That was 7 plays, 42 yards, and it took 2 minutes and 46 seconds off the clock. King set to kick off from his own 40. Viera with those 3 men back deep. Johnson, Housey, I should say Jalen Housey, and Davis Mallinger. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining in this game. King set to kick off. And it's going to go over towards the far sideline. It's going to take a bounce. And Coco very nearly picked up the live ball. It's going to be Jalen Housey, who doesn't get far. He's tackled just shy of the 25-yard line, and that's where the Hawks will begin with 7:03 remaining.
Parker updates me. It was 36-6 Titusville, but he's right. Still a great job by Paul Kaluma to win that first game. Congratulations, Coach. I promise we'll see you at least 1 week out of this season. But here's what I want to say with 7:03 to go here. This is where Bryce Norton becomes his most dangerous. This is where he's going to improvise the most, Jerry.
And this is where you've got to throw caution to the wind and just take every single chance that you can. It's going to be 3 wide with Johnson to the left of Norton out of the gun. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at their own 25-yard line. 4 down linemen for the Tigers. Pressure coming from Freeman. And Norton will let it fly, looking for Mallinger. And it's incomplete. Plenty of coverage applied there by Zaquan Reeves. And just want to go back to Paul Kaluma and the Titusville Terriers, Alan. And I imagine for those players this has to feel great, because the amount of turnover that's happened just since there was a football game last played by the Terriers. They've had 3 coaches since.
Yeah.
5 in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
It just, you read these stories and you go, how does that happen? How does it get to that point?
Yeah.
This is the Titusville team that not too long ago had multiple Division I players and were going to the playoffs. So good for them. 2nd and 10, Norton looking to throw again, and it was wide of his target. Looking there for Donovan Giles, and just like that, it's 3rd and 10.
If you're grading the performance of Bryce Norton tonight, and look, I love him, but I think what it's been is inconsistent at best. I don't think he's been able to settle into a Bryce Norton type of a rhythm that we're accustomed to seeing the best quarterback, in my opinion, in the state of Florida that does what he does since Tim Tebow.
Well, you said there was concerns about his health, and you wonder if that's showing up here as this game's gone along. And again, still very early. I imagine we won't see this kind of Bryce Norton come October. And that one's just begging to be picked off, and it will be. There's plenty of room. Yeah, there might be a block at the back. I think the pick's going to stand. Plenty of room there. Looking to see who came out of the pile with the pick. And I believe that was Jaquez Hicks. We'll see if the pick stand. The flag came after the pick. And I wonder if it's because there's a block in the back. There's also a Hawk down over on the far sideline.
So there's a lot here to dissect, but definitely an interception thrown by Norton. And ironic, we're just talking about him.
And there it is. That was that first turnover in this game that you were talking about.
Yeah, could be the one that seals it.
I think so. 6:36 to go. And fortunately up and on his feet is Jeremiah Housey. And we'll see where they mark this because the penalties is going to come into play here. A couple of score updates. 9:16 left in the fourth quarter. Mel High have scored again, and it's now 35-21 Palm Bay. Neither team have moved.
No.
Both units are back on the field, so maybe this flag might have been before the pick.
Maybe this is maybe they're calling pass interference.
Let's wait to hear what they announce.
Wow. Wow.
15-yard penalty.
That was not a great call.
Tell you what, it's tough for me to see Allen, but you know we're the ones up here, so it stands. And for Viera, they've got another chance. And that's a ball on the ground, and the Tigers are going to get this one. That was an untouched hog going to ground. I did not see who that was. I believe that might have been Caleb Osborne, who simply just fell to ground and the ball came loose.
That you can't take away from him, can you?
Or unless they're calling that a dead ball or an incomplete pass, because the Coco defense is not coming off.
They're saying third down.
So I think they're going to rule that an incompletion.
He says his timeout, official timeout. I don't know if this is for the Aqua. Wow. So, Jerry, I got to be honest with you. You know, I don't understand the pass interference call, first of all. Then we get this call. Okay, well, you know what? Just not going in the way of Ryan Schneider, but he does have a 20-10 lead here with 6:09 to play.
And if you're Ryan Schneider right now and you hear this crowd getting very much into it and they're disagreeing with this call, and you just tell your defense, hey, relax. You're still on their own side of the field. We're making a lot of plays right now. We're flying around. We're doing what we need to be doing. Don't worry about any of this stuff. You get one more stop here, they're going to punt. We're going to put our offense back out on that field. They haven't stopped us this half. You make one more play, we might be able to run this clock out. Reminder again for next week's coverage, we've got a doubleheader next week. Thursday night we'll be on the beach side as Satellite hosts Bayside. Of course, Satellite had no trouble at all tonight at home with Berean Christian. Bayside, we're hosting St. Cloud. We haven't had an update on that game. Though we do think the Bears will continue to improve just based on their performance last week. And then next Friday, we'll be over at O'Galley High School as the Commodores host Hernando, a team over from Citrus County who have been a recent playoff team. Here it is. It is 2nd and 5. Norton steps up, looking downfield, and that's going to be intercepted. Plenty of room to run here over the 45, heading back towards midfield. It's Jaquez Hicks again, and I think he was short. I think he was looking for Mallinger, and Jaquez Hicks just jumped the route. That ball was short, and I think Hicks is down.
Yeah,
Ryan Schneider immediately heading out to the field.
Yeah.
That did not look good.
Brought down by number 58.
Yeah, I tell you, if at first you don't succeed, you try and try again. Unofficially, the third straight turnover committed by Viera. This time they get it as Jaquez Hicks immediately comes up. And, well, I tell you, the way Ryan Schneider ran out there, he scared me to death with what could have been wrong. But Hicks is up, and that's just great news, Jerry.
If you're Ryan Schneider and your defensive coordinator, Marcus Wilder, you're going to your defense right now and go, see, this is exactly what you told you. Keep your focus. Don't worry about the outside stuff. Don't worry about a bad call. Just go make the play. They make the play, and there's 5:52 left in this game, and the Tigers now have a real chance to ice this game. And it may not even necessarily be with a score, but every coach will tell you that in addition to your 2-minute offense, you have your 4-minute offense. And there's 5:52 left, but this is where you run your 4-minute offense. Even if you don't score, you want to bleed this clock to the point that, say, Viera gets this ball back with, I don't know, 1:10 remaining.
Yeah.
And I think we have another penalty here because they've got this ball spotted all the way up to the Hawk 31-yard line with 5:52 to go.
Look, you've got the three-headed monster that's Gaines, Holmes, and Ross in that backfield. I don't know if I'm throwing anything here. The give is to Holmes.
And they won't gain much.
Keziah Holmes brought down by number 99, Jamari Lyons.
Immediately met by Lyons, and you're going to gain 3 yards there.
Well, I just can't say enough again tonight for our production crew. Gavin, Keith, just a great job he's done. Thank you so much.
This is our first broadcast together. I know you've worked with Gavin before, but doing a high school football broadcast together, this was tremendous work, and I have a feeling we're going to get even better next week, and we're going to keep getting better.
Yeah, we are.
4 wide for Coco, and they're going to take as much time as they can. It's 2nd and officially 9 from the 29. High snap for Royals, going to get rid of it quickly, looking for Manning, and he dropped that. Looking to see if he was behind the line because it then would have been a fumble, and that stops the clock with 5:02 to go.
See, there's my frustration because, an incomplete pass stops the clock, like as you just said. Why not just turn it, hand it off to one of the three-headed monsters you got back there in that backfield? You let that clock progress 45 seconds, and it's less of an opportunity. You give Viera.
They're going to need to get to the Hawk 20. This is probably no man's land here as well. You'd be looking at about a 46-yard field goal, if nothing else.
What do I know?
They're not going to have to worry about that. This game's history. It's Adrian Manning to the house. It's a touchdown for Coco, and it's 26-10 with 4:54 to go.
Back to the bread and butter across the middle. DJ Arroyo goes, and just like that, Jerry, that pass makes it 26-10. That's what I said Coco would score. 4:54 to go here in the fourth quarter, and I tell you, I'm not going to do my impression of Dandy Don Meredith, but I think you could start to turn out the lights.
Yeah, we'll start to see if the exit lines start to form here after this extra point from King, but that should just about wrap it up. A 17-point deficit in Coco with 4:54 to go. It's just about as much of a lock as you can imagine. King's extra point is good, and with 4:54 left, it's Coco 27, Viera 10.
I'd like to say hello to Jared Baker watching with us. Jared, of course, a UCF commit, went to O'Galley High School. Demetrius Jackson says Tiger Pride. Michael Landris says ADAD. Oh, I don't know what that means. But Nikita Smith says, welcome to the jungle, Hawks. And I was looking to see, aside from the Rockledge Raiders, the last football team that the Coco Tigers lost 2 in a row to here in Brevard County was Booker T.
A fate that's happened to many a team.
Right.
Well, there's that. There's also Rains. Rains is also dished 2 straight to Coco, but I believe Booker T was the last team to come here and win 2 straight times. Of course, Booker T had those 4 years in a row of, 5 years in a row in the state semifinals, and some of them were awfully close. I was there for a couple of them.
Well,
finally broke through in 2016. They got over the Booker T. Washington hump. They went on to win the state title that year, beating Bowles, and now it's about getting over the Jacksonville Reigns hurdle. And I'll tell you what, Alan.
Well, you have to do that because Jacksonville Reigns moved up a class.
That's right. And they won't have to face a Miami team until the final, I believe. But Mel High making a game of it. It is now 35-27.
Uh-oh.
Don't have time on that, but Mel High making things awfully interesting there. King set to kick off with 4:54 left in this game, and for Viera, it's almost about window dressing at this point. Either you get it just a little bit closer or you make sure that it doesn't get too out of hand. It's going to be fielded at the 7-yard line here, I believe, by Johnson over the 25, and I think ran into his own man at the 27. The man he ran into, it was Nate Acevedo. And the Hawks will...
Dan Hancock says, Duval. Dan Hancock, of course, like to give a big shout out to Dan. Dan was over at the Viera Century Pop Warner League, left there to really start up the Holy Trinity Middle School football program over there, something you don't see in Brevard County. Dan had a couple of his great student athletes in the studio a couple of weeks ago. If anybody can get that rolling at the middle school level, junior high level, I should say, it's Dan Hancock.
You know, you used to see that, when I was a kid, we had middle school football in Brevard County. That kind of faded as the population started to shrink. As that goes to Davis Mallinger, he'll get maybe a yard. But maybe even the most recent example of that is, I wouldn't even say middle school football. You used to see freshman football a lot in Brevard County.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that in at least a decade. I want to say the last real bastion of that was Coco Beach, and they held on to that for the longest time, even as the population started to shrink. And even about 8-9 years ago, they had to give it up.
Well, here's how the rest of this broadcast is going to go. I'm going to thank our sponsors. Jerry's going to finish the broadcast here with less than 2 minutes to go. I'm going to get on the field. I'll have a live stream going coming up. Jerry will join me down on the field for post-game live interviews coming up. But Sunset View Windows and Doors, a veteran and family-owned and operated business, and is Brevard's premier window and door company. You can reach them at 321-257-4422. Viera Pizza. I've said it all night long. It's the best pizza in Brevard County. Order yours tonight, 321-636-7696.
Norton takes the snap here. It's going to be 3rd and 9 from the 27. He's got plenty of time looking. He's going to send for a man downfield and did not see the late flag. Could have been up there. Could have been a 50-50 ball, but Donovan Giles was the intended target. Good coverage applied by Keontae Curry.
The mistake that Donovan Giles makes there, and he's going to see it on film, is he stopped and went for the penalty instead of running. And I'm sure that Coach DeGore is going to let him know that come tomorrow when they check this film out.
Well, it is getting stranger and stranger. The Bulldogs have just recorded a safety.
Really?
It is 35-30, and they're going to get the ball.
Yeah.
I don't believe this. Tell you, you usually don't see, you might see a 10-point comeback in a game. You might even see a 14-point comeback in a game. Melbourne, I believe, were down 20-plus at one point in this game. As Aiden Ferreira is set to punt, as we're now inside 4 minutes.
Tony Rowell over there. Tony Rowell, the new head coach there. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, Jerry Tanner Rowell got that scholarship up at Florida for the Gators.
Oh, yeah. And the punt down at the 31-yard line of the Tigers. And for Coco, they can now well and truly go into the 4-minute offense to ice this game. And for Viera, they know the drill.
Yeah.
This is how it's gone. They've played many a close game with the Tigers, and they've seen the specter of this. They know just how much it takes to be able to beat a team like Coco. That's why they're playing every late November, every December.
Well, I got to tell you, in the next couple of weeks, you look at their schedules now. They should, they should be favored against Centennial. Okay, but then after that, it's Fort Dorchester, a perennial state champion out of South Carolina. Then, not long after that, Jerry, the Raiders come a-knocking over at Hawk Stadium from Rockledge. So that first half of that schedule for them until they hit the district slate is a tough one.
And even then, going on the road to Harmony, I wouldn't call that a walk
either.
1st and 10 from the 31. And off it'll go to Amarian Gaines, and he'll gain about 3 there. Keziah Holmes-Knight probably done. At this point, you've got a 17-point lead. You've got a capable back in Amarian Gaines. We've seen him perform well in these first 2 weeks. Why not let him get the run here? Get some experience. There might be times where they're going to have to count on Amarian Gaines maybe more than they would have expected.
Yeah.
Let him get the experience in a game that still has some doubt to it.
We'd also like to thank Gentle Dental Associates, providing quality dental care you can trust with stunning results. Schedule your appointment, 321-242-3300 or gentledentalonline.com.
It's Gaines once again, plenty of room here. He's got just about the first down, and he'll get it on the second effort after being brought down by Cato Holmes. So that's going to be a gain of, call it, say 9. By the way, to round out that Viera schedule, after they go to Harmony, October 4th, they host DeLand, a team that's made many a deep run in the playoffs before. Then what'll be a very emotional night, October 11th, Toho-Pekalega, the newest high school in Osceola County, comes to town, and that's the school
Kevin Mays went to, but he went to Baker County.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
We do have him up there now. October 18th, they'll go to St. Cloud. October 25th, they go to Melbourne. And then the big one, maybe, November 1st at Vero Beach, one of the longtime stalwarts of this state.
Yeah, you know, I tell you, Kevin Mays wanted to get back into coaching, took the AD job over at Toho, and then just couldn't resist the opportunity to take a job up in, not the Panhandle, it's kind of between Jacksonville and the Panhandle at Baker County.
And if you know anything about small school high school football in the state of Florida, Baker County's been a team that's been in the mix for years.
Every year. Shane Staples' dad is the athletic director there at Baker County. Shane Staples is the quarterback coach for the Viera Hawks. So just a lot of great stuff, man. A lot, small world, even though it's such a big one. Under 2 to play here.
Arroyo continuing to stay out of the gun as they'll line up with 3 wide on the near side left. Marion Gaines now the feature back to the left of Arroyo. They've got to be near the end of the play clock. As Gaines takes the snap, runs into the line. He'll gain about 2. He'll be just shy of midfield. And that'll set up 3rd and call it a long 2. But Viera's not even using their 2 remaining timeouts. I think that kind of tells you the state of the game at this point. Viera knows where this is.
Derek Smith's a realist. He knows. But look, you know what? The Hawks will get right back to it. Now, for these Coco Tigers, as we discussed prior to the broadcast tonight, 10 teams on their schedule. They were all playoff teams last year. 8 of them won a playoff game last year. It looks like these Coco Tigers, Jerry, are up to the task of that daunting schedule.
And this is the lesson for Viera, is that if you want to load your schedule with these kind of games, you might take these kind of results. But what do you gain from it? What do you take out of this? What are they going to see on film tomorrow that they're going to go, okay, this is a correctable flaw that we have?
Right. The other thing, too, is you go back to 2015 and look at that schedule that Viera played then in Allen, Texas. Started off in Allen, Texas. They ended up going to the state championship that year. They had lost 4 of 7 at one point. But you know what? The schedule that they played was amazing. All right, keep it right here on 321 Sportscast. We'll talk about who the player of the game is coming up a little bit later on when Jerry Durney and I give you a post-game on-the-field report. So your final score, once again, from Richard Dick Blake Stadium. The Coco Tigers avenge last year's loss and defeat the Viera Hawks. I'd like to thank Gavin Keith for all he's done here tonight, and of course my broadcast partner, the best play-by-play guy in Brevard County, Jerry Durney. He and Graham McGowan do a great job. Your final score from Richard Dick Blake Stadium: the Coco Tigers 27, the Viera Hawks 10. We'll see you on the post-game wrap-up show. Have a great night, everybody.